Chapter 1940. Even so, Longao did not want to leave. Muronguena's death seemed to have stimulated Longao. After successfully killing Dugu Aotian, Longao's self-blame did not lessen. Instead, it grew heavier. Countless Starry Sky Soul slaves attacked again. This time, Longao was clearly more serious. Even if he had to lose all his Starry Sky Soul slaves, he had to kill these two. Not only the Starry Sky Soul slaves, but also Longao himself. Holding the reincarnation sword, Longao began to attack the two in a frenzy. At first, Longao wanted to use the power of the dragon seal, but Long Fu firmly stopped him. The reason was simple. If Longao continued to use the power of the dragon seal, he would definitely suffer a backlash. Not only that, even if Longao could use the power of the dragon seal to break through to the 9th level of Starry Sky Cultivator, so what? He could not kill the two at all and would suffer a backlash. How could Longao not know this result? But in this case, if he could not kill the two, he would lose so many Starry Sky Soul slaves for nothing. Bu Chengtian and Feng Buxiu seemed to have learned their lesson. Since the Starry Sky Soul slaves could not kill them, why should they take the risk? Step by step. The two seemed to be moving slowly, but in fact, the Starry Sky Soul slaves could not stop them at all. At this moment, the devouring chaos tablet in Longao's dantian suddenly broke free from Longao's dantian and shot out. The originally small black tablet suddenly became incomparably huge. The tablet emitted waves of cold light as if it could devour everything. Seeing this, Longao was a little dumbfounded. Although he did not know what the devouring chaos tablet was, he did not doubt its power. Longao put all the Starry Sky Soul slaves into the dragon seal space. Looking at the huge tablet in front of them, both Bu Chengtian and Feng Buxiu were a little dumbfounded. Chaos tablet? The two were still a little unsure whether the tablet in front of them was the legendary chaos tablet. In the vast starry sky, there were 12 rulers of the starry sky. Countless years ago, the 12 rulers of the starry sky had all fallen. The 12 chaos tablets they possessed were scattered everywhere. There was a legend that as long as one could obtain the 12 chaos tablets, they could become the new ruler of the starry sky. Because of this, the cultivators of the starry sky were frantically searching for the 12 chaos tablets. As for the starry sky secret realm, it was unknown who had spread the news that there were primal chaos tablets in the starry sky territory of the Qianwu Plain. As for how many there were, no one knew. That was also why, once the passage to the Sky Marshal Plain opened, countless cultivators from the starry sky rushed in, wanting to enter the starry sky secret territory. In the end, it was for the starry skies to the starry sky realm. As for whether or not the Chaos Stone tablets existed in the starry sky secret realm, no one knew. The temptation of a primal Chaos Stone tablet was simply too great. The starry sky. 12 rulers of the starry skies, 12 Chaos Stone Steelies. Dominator of the 5-element starry sky, dominator of the devouring starry sky, dominator of the lightning starry sky, dominator of the space starry sky, dominator of the time starry sky, dominator of the destruction starry sky, dominator of the reincarnation starry sky, dominator of the slaughter starry sky, dominator of the divine calculation starry sky, dominator of the sword intent starry sky, dominator of the immortal tyrant body starry sky, and dominator of the darkness starry sky. The corresponding 12 Chaos Stone Steelies. 5 elements primal chaos tablet, devour primal chaos tablet, lightning primal chaos tablet, space primal chaos tablet, time primal chaos tablet, destruction primal chaos tablet, reincarnation primal chaos tablet, slaughter primal chaos tablet, divine divination primal chaos tablet, sword intent primal chaos tablet, immortal tyrant body primal chaos tablet, darkness primal chaos tablet. The two of them had already confirmed that the stone tablet in front of them was the legendary primal Chaos Stone tablet. As for what kind of Chaos Stone tablet it was, the two of them had no idea. Chaos Stone tablet? To think that it's a Chaos Stone tablet. Ha ha ha. After confirming it, the two of them laughed crazily. He had risked his life to enter the Sky Marshal Plain to enter the Starry Sky secret territory. Strictly speaking, It was to enter the Starry Sky secret territory to obtain the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. That was indeed the case. Neither of them had ever imagined that they would see a primal Chaos Stone Tablet at a time like this. No matter what kind of primal Chaos Stone Tablet it was, as long as they could obtain it, they could become a ruler of the universe. Who could resist such temptation? How many secrets did Longao have? How many good things did he have? However, their faces turned blue. If they didn't grasp this rare opportunity, they definitely wouldn't forgive themselves. Longao did not move at all, neither did he speak. Even though he was a Starry Sky cultivator, Longao was still unable to control the primal Chaos Stone Tablet completely. Therefore, he did not try to control it and let nature take its course. Let's go. Feng Buxiong was a wily old fox indeed. He did not make the first move. Instead, he ordered for Bu Chengtian beside him to go first to check things out. If there were any accidents, he could stay out of it and think of other ways to obtain the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Bu Chengtian cursed in his heart. How could Bu Chengtian not know what Feng Buxiong meant? However, the strong reigned supreme. If one had the strength, they would have the right to speak. If one didn't have the strength, they could only listen obediently. Unable to speak out, Bu Chengtian could only head for the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. However, Bu Chengtian was a little bit lucky. If he could get the primal Chaos Stone Tablet and swallow it, no matter what attribute it belonged to, he would definitely become the new star ruler in the future. Thinking about this, Bu Chengtian was a little bit excited. Bu Chengtian also had an idea about what to do after he got the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. As long as he could swallow the stone tablet, he could leave. Even if Feng Buxiong wasn't happy, he wouldn't be able to catch up with him. When the time was up, he would completely refine the primal Chaos Stone Tablet and become the star ruler. Would he still need to be afraid of Feng Buxiong? The star ruler was an invincible existence in this vast universe. At that time, not to mention the Starry Sky Territory emperors, even the territory ancestors of the Starry Sky Territory were like cats and dogs in his eyes. He hoped that he could get the primal Chaos Stone Tablet smoothly. Thinking of this, Bu Chengtian sped up. In a few seconds, he arrived in front of the Chaos Stone Tablet. The Chaos Stone Tablet looked ordinary. The power it had just released had disappeared. Now, the Chaos Stone Tablet looked like an ordinary stone tablet. There was nothing special about it. However, as they were sure that this stone tablet was the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, they didn't doubt it anymore. They extended their hands to feel the stone tablet. Bu Chengtian thought that he could swallow the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. However, as soon as his hands touched the tablet, his face changed. He screamed in fright, "Master, save me, save me." Chapter 1941. Feng Buxiong would make a move. Without a doubt, Feng Buxiong didn't care about Bu Chengtian's life or death. He just wanted to see what was going on with the primal Chaos Tablet. Just as Bu Chengtian's hands touched the tablet emitted a terrifying power and started to devour Bu Chengtian. A mighty cosmic domain emperor couldn't resist at all. But thinking about it, it made sense. What did the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets mean? Everyone was extremely clear in their hearts. If there wasn't any danger, why didn't Feng Buxiong do it himself instead of Bu Chengtian? Did Feng Buxiong not want the tablet? Definitely not. Feng Buxiong wanted the primal Chaos Stone Tablet more than anyone else. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come to the Heaven Martial Realm for no reason. Was it for fun? Bu Chengtian's entire body was devoured by the tablet. Not even his primordial spirit was left. F***ck seeing this, Feng Buxiong was completely dumbfounded. Feng Buxiong couldn't understand how Longao could have the tablet and not be hurt at all. Why couldn't Bu Chengtian? The tablet was still there but Feng Buxiong didn't dare to move at all. Longao, I don't need anything else. I only want this primal Chaos Stone Tablet. As long as you are willing to hand it over, the grudge between us will be written off. Moreover, I can give you many Starry Sky Godheads, Starry Sky martial skills, and Starry Sky divine weapons. He didn't dare to move or touch the tablet. The only way was Longao. Feng Buxiu was almost certain that Longao could control the tablet. He couldn't let go of such a rare opportunity. Feng Buxiu knew that if he could get the tablet, he wouldn't need to enter the cosmic secret realm. After all, the dangers there were unknown. Longao laughed mockingly. Feng Buxiu, are you out of your mind? Do you think I'll tell you how to control the tablet? Do you think I'll give you the tablet? He wasn't angry. Instead, he was smiling. Longao, as long as I spread the news of the primal chaos stone tablet, think about it yourself. What will happen to you? Hearing this, Longao's expression changed again. He knew what Feng Immortal meant. If this matter were to spread out, his troubles would probably be magnified infinitely. Not to mention the external enemies and the Heavenly Law Alliance, he believed that even the godly mathematician and Yi Dugu would come looking for him. If that was the case, would he be able to deal with it? Without a doubt, it was impossible to deal with it. Previously, he had obtained 2 primal chaos stone tablets. One was the 5 elements primal chaos stone tablet, while the other was the Devour primal chaos stone tablet. No one knew. Even Master God Diviner only knew that he had a primal chaos stone tablet. After handing over the 5 elements primal chaos stone tablet, he only had the Devour primal chaos stone tablet left. Feng Immortal, do you think you have a chance to leave? He smiled. With a mocking smile on his face, Feng Buxiong said coldly, Longao, I admit your strength and potential. It won't be easy for me to kill you. However, do you think you can keep me here? He couldn't do it. Longao knew himself well. Of course, he knew that with his strength, even with the help of the Starry Sky Soul Slave Army, he still couldn't stop the other party. However, Longao was very clear that he had to keep this person. Otherwise, wouldn't he be in endless trouble? In the next second. Before Longao could react, Feng Buxiong had already turned and left. As the Starry Sky Domain Emperor, Feng Buxiong had disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Letting out a deep sigh, Feng Buxiong still left in the end. Longao was already prepared to deal with the upcoming trouble. Longao didn't chase. The reason was simple. He didn't know what was going on with the primal chaos stone tablet in front of him. In the end, he hadn't fused with the primal chaos stone tablet. Otherwise, he wouldn't not know what the primal chaos stone tablet wanted to do. Moreover, the primal chaos stone tablet could do whatever it wanted. If the primal chaos stone tablet didn't move, he didn't dare to move either. What should he do? In the end, without a choice, Longao could only rely on the 9-cycle reincarnation technique to try and retrieve the primal chaos stone tablet. However, the result was still fruitless. Just like that, Longao didn't dare to leave. He didn't dare to move. Time passed by bit by bit. After an unknown amount of time, the primal chaos stone tablet began to release a stream of energy that slowly entered Longao's body. He was overjoyed. Longao found that the stream of energy released by the primal chaos stone tablet was constantly strengthening the starry sky power in his body. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Longao didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately used this powerful stream of energy to cultivate crazily. Peak Level 3 Starry Sky Cultivator Realm. He broke through to Level 4 Starry Sky Cultivator in one fell swoop. Not only that, Longao found that his cultivation speed didn't slow down. Instead, it got faster and faster. From Level 4 Starry Sky Cultivator, he directly broke through to Level 5 Starry Sky Cultivator. In just a few minutes, he broke through 2 Starry Sky realms. What kind of concept was this? He thought that it would be over. Even so, Longao was already very satisfied. Although he didn't know what happened, to be able to break through 2 realms consecutively was already an incredible thing. Under normal circumstances, to break through 2 realms consecutively would take at least 3 to 5 years, or even 8 to 10 years. It was almost impossible. But what was the result? Longao was pleasantly surprised to find that this stream of energy didn't stop at all. Peak Level 5 Starry Sky Cultivator, not only did it not stop immediately, it directly broke through to Level 6 Starry Sky Cultivator, and even reached the peak of Level 6 Starry Sky Cultivator. He was pleasantly surprised to the extreme. Breaking through 3 starry sky realms consecutively, Longao was already very satisfied. However, this stream of energy still continued to expand in his body. According to this trend, he could break through to level 7 starry sky cultivator. Longao wasn't sure if he could break through to level 7 starry sky cultivator, but the only thing he could do was to condense the starry sky power in his body into a starry sky domain. Although he couldn't really master the starry sky domain, he still had to condense it. Only then could he successfully break through to level 7 starry sky cultivator. Longao didn't know how long it would take to condense the starry sky domain normally. But now, in just a few minutes, Longao had condensed the starry sky domain in his body. This also meant that Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through to level 7 starry sky cultivator, and directly reached the peak of level 7 starry sky cultivator. 4 starry sky realms consecutively. Even Longao felt a little unbelievable and unbelievable. P.S. Chapter 5. Chapter 1942. The flow of energy stopped. The primal chaos tablet turned into a black light and entered Longao's body. Even now, Longao was still in a daze. Was what had just happened real? From a 3rd level to a 7th level cultivator, he had broken through 4 levels in a row. It was hard to believe. He had no idea why the primal chaos tablet had suddenly helped him. He was a bit confused. 2 hours later. Suddenly, a piece of news spread from the Martial Heaven continent. Longao had the primal chaos tablet. Everyone was completely shocked. Everyone was completely stupefied. They all knew what the primal chaos tablet meant, especially the cultivators who had come from outside. They couldn't contain their excitement. Once you obtained the primal chaos tablet, you could become the ruler of the universe. Everyone had entered the Martial Heaven continent and the Star Secret realm for the primal chaos tablet. But now, no one had ever imagined that Longao would have the primal chaos tablet. Was this true or false? Many people chose not to believe it. After all, it was a bit ridiculous. If Longao really had the primal chaos tablet, why would he leak it? Longao wasn't a fool. He definitely wouldn't casually leak it. Once it did, it would be incomparably troublesome. Half believed it, half didn't. Some people even suspected that this was done on purpose to kill with a borrowed knife. Longao also got the news. He smiled. It seemed like things weren't as bad as they had imagined. At least, many people didn't believe it, especially the 5 Starry Sky Territory Emperors and 2 Starry Sky Territory Ancestors. However, even so, Longao didn't relax. Although some people didn't believe it, others definitely did. Longao was almost certain that many people would come looking for him. After all, the allure of the primal chaos stone tablet was far too great. In addition, there was the secret technique to shatter the starry skies and increase one's strength. He didn't hide. Longao blamed himself for Uncle Murong's death this time because in his opinion, it was because of him that Uncle Murong's primordial spirit was forced to self-destruct by the 3 of them and completely disappeared. That was exactly the case. Longao was ready to take revenge. In the past, it was almost impossible to kill a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, even with the help of a Starry Sky Soul Slave. But now, the situation was completely different. With the help of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, his cultivation had advanced from a Grade 3 Starry Sky Cultivator to a Grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator. A total of 4 Starry Sky grades. What kind of concept was that? Longao had full confidence that even if he faced a Grade 8 Starry Sky Cultivator, he would not feel any fear. However, it was still not enough to face the Starry Sky Realm Emperor. Even so, Longao was ready to take revenge. Heaven Dao Peak, Heaven Dao Alliance. The Heavenly Dao also received the news from the Starry Sky region's immortal Emperor Wind. It was very surprised, but the Heavenly Dao was still in disbelief. If Longao had the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, would Master God Diviner have agreed? Borrowing a knife to kill someone. Heavenly Dao had already guessed that many people wanted to kill Longao and seize Longao's secret technique to shatter the starry skies and enhance their strength. Lord Heavenly Dao, are you looking for me? Looking at the Heavenly Dao in front of him, Zhen Tian felt very worried. With Murong Guenar leaving the sect, what if the Heavenly Tao blamed him? How would he deal with it? Of course, he understood Zhen Tian's meaning. Heavenly Tao smiled and said, "Don't be nervous. I asked you to come here this time mainly to tell you two things. First, according to the news I received, Murong Guenar has fallen. Shock. However, he did not feel surprised because Zhen Tian had already guessed this possibility. Once Murong Guenar left the Sword Sect and the Heaven Dao Alliance, with Murong Guenar's strength, he would definitely die. He felt helpless, but since things had already turned out this way, what else could he do? You only have yourself to blame. You can't blame others. Showing loyalty, Zhen Tian's meaning was very simple. He wanted to show his loyalty to the Heavenly Tao. The Heavenly Tao did not take it seriously. If it were not for special circumstances, he would not put a sword sect in his eyes, even if it was Zhen Tian. A level 3 starry sky cultivator was nothing. Since the other party did not care, the Heavenly Tao did not continue. Instead, he said, "Another thing, I am very clear about the relationship between you and Longao. Since you can choose, I will not make things difficult for you. However, you have to do something now. If you succeed, you will be the Deputy Alliance Master of the Heaven Dao Alliance. If you fail..." The Heavenly Tao did not finish his words, but the meaning was very clear. "Lord Heavenly Tao, please instruct me." Zhen Tian did not feel surprised at all. The Deputy Alliance Master of the Heaven Dao Alliance was nothing to him. The most important thing was to protect his life. Zhen Tian was almost certain that the matter the Heavenly Dao Alliance was talking about was not simple. Spread the news that Longao has the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and that you are going to deal with Longao. I will give you 3 months. Zhen Tian was shocked. Zhen Tian had thought of countless possibilities, but he never thought that the Heavenly Tao would ask him to kill Longao. Was this even possible? Sensing the murderous aura from the Heavenly Tao, Zhen Tian knew that he had no other choice in this situation. He nodded but still said, "Lord Heavenly Tao, I have no problem dealing with Longao. However, with my strength, I am not a match for Longao. If I act rashly, I am afraid there will only be one outcome. I will die without a doubt." To be honest, he would die anyway. Since he knew that he would die if he dealt with Longao, he might as well die in the hands of the Heavenly Tao. "Zhen Tian, this is a level 9 starry sky godhead. I can forcibly turn you into a level 9 starry sky cultivator within 3 days. As for what happens next, it is up to you." Since things had come to this point, did he have any other choice? Since there was no such thing, he could only accept it. However, Zhen Tian still had a trace of luck. If his cultivation could really break through to a level 9 starry sky cultivator, he might really be able to kill Longao. Zhen Tian was not full of confidence. On the contrary, he was very worried. The reason was very simple. Previously, Longao had not only fought a Starry Sky Domain Lord and a Starry Sky Domain Emperor alone, but he had also repelled both of them. What kind of concept was that? In the following time, Zhen Tian devoured the level 9 Starry Sky Godhead. If he had refined the Starry Sky Godhead under normal circumstances, who knew how long it would take for him to break through from a level 3 Starry Sky Cultivator to a level 9 Starry Sky Cultivator? However, the situation was completely different now. With the full help of the Heavenly Tao, Zhen Tian had not only refined the level 9 Starry Sky Godhead but also broke through to a level 9 Starry Sky Cultivator in less than 3 days. P.S. The 6th chapter has been delivered. There are 4 chapters left today. Little 9, please vote. Brothers, if you have votes, please vote for War God Longao and Myriad Worlds God Emperor. Little 9 thanks. Chapter 1943. Heavenly Tao Union. Long Family, Wan Shou Sect, Azura Palace, one of the 3 major branches of the Heavenly Tao Union. Long Tian, Wan Shou ancestor, and Xing Kuan, with the help of the Heavenly Tao, devoured the Starry Sky Domain Lord's personality and successfully broke through. As for Long Di Tian, Shi Chong, and Punishment, the 3 of them devoured the rank 9 Starry Sky Godhead and successfully broke through to rank 9 Starry Sky Cultivator. Zhen Tian could be considered unlucky. He originally wanted to show his loyalty to the heavenly Tao, hoping to get its help. But the result? Not only did he not get any help, but he also had to deal with Longao. Xingquan was very curious and asked, "Lord, since you know that Zhen Tian is not Longao's opponent, why did you let him deal with Longao?" Not only Xingquan, but everyone here was curious. Zhen Tian went this time to test Longao. "Xingquan, punishment, you two go with him." The two were shocked. If it was in the past, with their current powerful strength, wanting to kill Longao was as easy as flipping their hands. But now, they were a little scared. Xingquan said worriedly, "Lord Heavenly Tao, with our strength, I'm afraid we are not Longao's opponent. If we go rashly, not only will we not be able to kill Longao, maybe." Although he did not finish his sentence, the meaning was very clear. They were afraid. It was a joke, a big joke. Whether it was Xingquan or punishment, they were both powerful starry sky cultivators. One was a starry sky domain lord, the other was a rank 9 starry sky cultivator. At this time, they did not dare to deal with a rank 3 starry sky cultivator. Until now, no one knew that Longao's cultivation had broken through to rank 7 starry sky cultivator. The heavenly Tao was not angry at all. After all, Longao was special. He could even defeat the starry sky domain lord. It was understandable for the two to be worried. The heavenly Tao seemed to have thought of it and said, "The two of you and this starry sky god artifact are enough to deal with Longao. Go." Seeing the god artifact, whether it was Xingquan or punishment, the two were pleasantly surprised. The news of Longao possessing a primal chaos stone tablet spread like wildfire. The more it spread, the more people didn't believe it. Those who believed it at the beginning gradually began to doubt it. Longao really had the primal chaos stone tablet. If he didn't hide, then what was he waiting for? Everyone knew what a primal chaos stone tablet meant. But even so, everyone was still looking for Longao, not to find the primal chaos stone tablet, but to obtain the secret technique to shatter the starry sky and increase one's strength, or even the secret technique to refine one's primordial spirit. Longao searched everywhere for traces of Feng Buxiu. In the vast sea of people, wanting to find traces of Feng Buxiu in the Sky Martial continent was not an easy matter. Looking for a needle in a haystack. Feng Wuxian was hiding. Longao was also startled. No matter what, with Feng Wuchang's power, the Starry Sky Domain Emperor was enough to dominate the Martial Heaven continent. After all, the Martial Heaven continent only had 3 Starry Sky Domain ancestors. If such a thing were to spread to the vast starry sky, would anyone believe it? Zhen Tian's cultivation had successfully broken through to become a grade 9 starry sky cultivator. He should have been full of confidence, but now, he did not have the slightest bit of confidence. The lesson of the past was still vivid in his mind. After searching for 2 days, Zhen Tian finally found Longao, but he did not immediately attack. No matter what, the two of them had a good relationship, especially in the Starry Sky secret realm. If it hadn't been for Longao's help, would Zhen Tian have been able to obtain the Starry Sky Godhead? If he hadn't devoured the Starry Sky Godhead and broken through to become a Starry Sky cultivator, would he have been able to reach this step? One wrong step, and every step was wrong. Without strength, this was the result. I couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. Longao felt a bit helpless. How could he not understand Zhen Tian's helplessness? There was no doubt that no one was unafraid of death. Longao naturally wouldn't blame Zhen Tian, but he hadn't expected Zhen Tian to come to deal with him. The heavenly Tao forced me. If I didn't act, I'm afraid. Waving his hand, Longao didn't want to continue listening. He sneered and said, "Since you've chosen to do this, I won't blame you. You're right, you couldn't help it. However, I also want to tell you that I couldn't help it either." Longao's cultivation had successfully broken through to become a Starry Sky Level 7 cultivator. He was confident that he could deal with Zhen Tian without any problems. After all, he still had the Starry Sky Soul Slave Army. However, could he really kill Zhen Tian? Longao recalled that the Sword Sect and Zhen Tian had helped him a lot in the past. Since he had received a bit of kindness from them, he should repay it with a gushing spring. Thinking of this, Longao said, Gentian, you're no match for me. Since you've helped me in the past, I won't kill you today. From now on, we'll cut off all ties. The next time we meet, we'll fight to the death. Could he leave? Gentian was almost certain that if he didn't kill Longao and returned to the Heavenly Tao Union, there would only be one outcome. He would be killed by the Heavenly Tao. Since Longao didn't deal with him because of their old friendship, did he have to do it? If that was the case, was he still human? After a deep sigh, Gentian said helplessly, Longao, I know that I've wronged you. I was afraid of death and didn't dare to help you. Thank you for remembering our old friendship. Goodbye. Just as Gentian turned around and was about to leave, a terrifying force of the star domain suppressed him. Then, Xingkuan and Punisher arrived at the same time. Xingkuan sneered and said, Gentian, how dare you betray the Heavenly Tao Union and Lord Heavenly Tao? Without the slightest fear, Gentian had already made up his mind to not deal with Longao. He said, both of you, whether I betrayed you or not, it's my business. It has nothing to do with you. Get lost. Gentian ignored the two of them. Even though he knew that Xingkuan's cultivation had reached the Starry Sky Domain Lord Realm, he still didn't show the slightest fear. Xingkuan laughed and said sarcastically, Gentian, with your current strength, you can't compete with me at all. Lord Heavenly Tao has given me the privilege to kill without mercy. A reincarnation sword chi came with a whoosh. If they hadn't dodged fast enough, the two of them would have been cut into two by the sword chi. Seeing Longao suddenly attacking them, their faces instantly became gloomy, and they looked as ugly as they could. Longao, how dare you attack? The two of them could clearly sense that Longao was no longer a grade 3 Starry Sky cultivator, but a genuine grade 7 Starry Sky cultivator. Was this true? In just a few days, the other party had broken through 4 realms in a row. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it unbelievable. If Longao had devoured the Starry Sky divine deities to improve so quickly, they could still understand. However, as everyone knew, Longao hadn't devoured the Starry Sky divine deities at all. In this case, Longao had broken through 4 realms in a row in such a short time, which was a bit shocking. P.S. Chapter 7 delivered. Chapter 1944. Lin Fan glared at them coldly. Even though he was pissed off at Gentian, Longao would not allow the two of them to kill Gentian right under his nose. Since the two of you are here, don't think of leaving. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. The moment they heard this, the two of them burst out laughing. If it were just based on their strength alone, they would definitely not be a match for Longao. But now, things were different. Old master, don't waste time with him. Xingkuan laughed coldly as he took out a small colorful pagoda. This was the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda that was given to him by the Heaven's will. Master, hurry and leave. Suddenly, Longao heard Long Fu's voice through his consciousness. What did that mean? Could it be because of the colorful pagoda in Xingkuan's hands? Longao did not doubt Long Fu's words. Turning around, he prepared to teleport away. But in the end, Longao realized that his body had been locked down. The 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda had already left Xingkuan's hands. With a whoosh, it appeared above Longao's head. In just a few short seconds, the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, which was only the size of a palm a moment ago, turned gigantic instantly. The immense power of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda started suppressing down. To Longao's horror, he realized that he could not fight back at all under the pagoda. In fact, he did not even have the chance to escape. He was locked down. Just what sort of a legendary weapon was this? There was no way Xingkuan could possess such a powerful weapon. The only explanation was that this colorful pagoda must have come from the Heaven's will. At the end of the day, the Heaven's will wanted to deal with him. Because of the threat of the clairvoyant, the Heaven's will did not dare to strike out personally. The gigantic 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda was suppressing Longao. However, the two of them could not retrieve the pagoda. Only the Heaven's will could retrieve the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. But the Heaven's will did not dare to do so. If they did, they would definitely be locked down by the clairvoyant. By then, they would be in big trouble. Looking at how Longao was being suppressed, Jian Tian was dumbfounded. Jian Tian, it's your turn now. Before the two of them could speak, Jian Tian took a big stride forward and arrived in front of Punishment, grabbing him. You! Before Divine Punishment could speak, Jian Tian's body had already erupted with a terrifying force. It was the self-destruction of his essence soul. There was nothing he could do. Jian Tian was well aware of his fate. Even if he did not die now, the Heavenly Tao would not let him off. With the strength of the Heavenly Law and the Heavenly Law Alliance, he would definitely die. After much consideration, Jian Tian gritted his teeth and chose to detonate his primordial spirit. Although he was not strong enough to defeat the two of them, the explosion of his Yuan divinity could easily affect the two of them. As long as the explosion engulfed them, the two of them would definitely die. Not good. F***CKU. Cursing under his breath, Xing Kuan, of course, knew the consequences of a grade 9 Starry Sky Cultivator's life essence explosion. Even if his strength far surpassed Jian Tian's, he would still die. Xing Kuan was naturally afraid of death. One had to admit that Xing Kuan's speed was very fast. He directly escaped the range of the explosion. In the face of life and death, Xing Kuan did not care about the punishment's life or death. Xing Kuan was a little shocked. He had never expected that Xing Kuan would choose to leave alone at this time. There was a loud boom. The explosion of Jian Tian's primordial spirit caused Xing Kuan to die. Not to mention the original body, even the primordial spirit had dissipated. This was the power of a Starry Sky Cultivator's life essence explosion. Looking at the two of them who had disappeared, Xing Kuan clenched his fists tightly. Xing Kuan's heart was filled with hatred. Jian Tian was supposed to die, but he had dragged Xing Kuan down with him. If anyone else had died, he would not have cared at all. Only Xing Kuan. No matter what, Xing Kuan was his man. Xing Kuan did not continue to dwell on this issue. Anyway, Longao had been suppressed. The Heavenly Tao's order had been resolved. Not only that, but he could also heave a sigh of relief that Longao had been suppressed. Xing Kuan did not dare to leave. Although the Heavenly Tao could not deal with Longao personally, Longao had to die. As for the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda, it had suppressed Longao. In at most a month, Longao would be refined by the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. There was no such thing as an airtight wall in the world. For some unknown reason, the news of Longao being suppressed had spread across the entire Sky Marshal continent. Everyone had rushed over. 2 Starry Sky Territory ancestors, 6 Starry Sky Territory emperors, including Feng Buxiu, and all the Starry Sky Territory emperors and Starry Sky Territory lords had rushed over. Countless cultivators stood around the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. Everyone was shocked. Brother Hong, if I'm not mistaken, the 7-colored pagoda suppressing Longao should be the legendary 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. Hong Kuan nodded. The 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda was a famous existence in the vast universe. The Sky Marshal plane is not simple at all. It's just a small mid-grade plane, but it has a powerful Starry Sky divine weapon like the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. It's unbelievable. Until now, no one knew that it was the Heavenly Tao's doing. Even if we work together, we won't be able to break the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. We have to find the person suppressing Longao to open the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. Otherwise, once Longao is refined, all the secret arts and treasures will vanish. How could they find him? Hong Lin and Qi Tian were depressed because there was no one around. Unless the person suppressing Longao personally appeared, they wouldn't be able to find any trace of Longao. Who could it be? Everyone was staring at the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. No one was willing to leave because the legend of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda was still vivid in their minds. As a peak Starry Sky divine weapon, how could they not be shocked when it appeared in the Sky Marshal plane for no reason? If it was just the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda, it would be fine. The real reason why they didn't leave was because of the treasures and secrets on Longao's body, such as the Starry Sky Shatterer and the secret arts that could increase his strength. Heavenly Tao Union. Jian Tian had fallen, Xing Kuan had fallen, and Xingkuan was still secretly guarding the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. However, the heavenly Tao already knew about it. The more it was so, the more he didn't dare to show himself. If everyone knew that the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda was his, he would definitely be in big trouble. The reason why he had been suppressing Longao secretly was to create a false impression for the divine mathematician that it wasn't his doing. After all, there were countless enemies. As long as he didn't admit it, who would dare to say that it was his doing? Heavenly Tao smiled confidently. He had completely refined the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Not to mention others, even the Starry Sky Territory ancestor wouldn't be able to break the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, let alone enter the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda to deal with Longao. As for the origin of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, it was due to luck. When Heavenly Tao had entered the vast starry sky, he had inadvertently obtained the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda in a low-level plane. After 10,000 years, he had finally refined the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. If it wasn't to deal with Longao, he definitely wouldn't use the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Author's note: Chapter 8 is here. Chapter 1945. 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, a famous starry sky god weapon in the vast starry sky. The black mass gave people a very uncomfortable feeling. 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda? Longao was amazed by the power of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. He could not even fight back. It was a terrifying starry sky god weapon. Kai kai, kai kai, kai kai. At this time, strange sounds came from all around. Longao looked around vigilantly, because the dark space was boundless, and he could not see the end. Master, if you want to break the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, you have to go to the 7th floor. Can you sense the entrance? If he wanted to go to the 7th floor of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, he had to go up 1 floor at a time. First, he had to go to the 2nd floor, and the first task was to find the passage to the 2nd floor. Yes. He suddenly felt happy. But before Longao could finish his surprise, Long Fu had already told him about the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, the higher one went, the more dangerous it was. Kai kai sounds came continuously. Longao kept retreating, because he had already seen who was making those sounds. Blood wolves. There were countless blood wolves all around. Each of the blood wolves emitted a cold gaze as they stared at Longao, who was in the center. Longao could clearly sense that all the blood wolves around were starry sky cultivators. At a glance, they were densely packed. As the saying goes, 2 fists cannot fight 4 hands. Even if his cultivation base broke through from level 3 to level 7, it was impossible to deal with countless starry sky blood wolves at the same time. The strongest blood wolves were only level 9 starry sky cultivators. There were no starry sky domain lord level blood wolves. Longao did not deal with the countless blood wolves alone. He summoned countless starry sky soul slaves. There were more than 9,000 of them, guarding Longao in the middle. The blood wolves around were very fast, and in the blink of an eye, they arrived. The starry sky soul slaves and the blood wolf army instantly started fighting. Not to mention the same level, even if the starry sky soul slaves were to fight above their level, they would not lose. In the end, the blood wolf's attack power was far above the starry sky soul slaves, but when it came to defense, the starry sky soul slaves could completely destroy the blood wolf army. The blood wolf hit the starry sky soul slave 10 times, but the starry sky soul slave was still fine. On the other hand, the starry sky soul slaves only needed 2 or even 1 strike to kill the blood wolf. This was the difference between them. The defense of the starry sky soul slave army was too terrifying. In just a few minutes, thousands of blood wolves had fallen. The ground was littered with blood wolf corpses. Even so, Longao was not the slightest bit excited. After all, the number of blood wolves was simply too many, as if there was no end to them. Not only that, what really shocked Longao was that the blood wolves were not made of flesh and blood at all. In other words, the countless blood wolf army around them were not real starry sky mythical beasts at all, but illusory existences. Shock. They were shocked to the extreme. If this continued, the Bloodwolf army would keep coming. Even if the Starry Sky Soul Slave army was not afraid, would he be suppressed here forever? Long Fu, can you sense what is going on with the Bloodwolves? Longao tried to release his primordial spirit, wanting to see the situation on the first floor of the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda and what was going on with the Bloodwolf army. Know yourself and know your enemy and you will win 100 battles. However, in the end, Longao's primordial spirit could not detect the situation on the first floor at all. This was because he found that once his primordial spirit was released, it would be counterattacked by the power of the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. In desperation, he could only ask Long Fu for help. With Long Fu's power, he wanted to see if he could detect the situation on the first floor of the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. Master, please give me 3 minutes. 3 minutes, for Longao, was just a blink of an eye. 3 minutes later. Master, according to my senses, if there is no accident, the first floor of the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda is guarded by a Starry Sky Domain Lord. Moreover, his bloodline is very special, he can actually transform into countless bloodwolves to attack. However, once he leaves the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda, he will not be able to do this. So that was it. The world was vast and full of strange things. It was hard to imagine that the bloodline of a Starry Sky Domain Lord could transform into countless bloodwolves. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, Longao would not have believed it. Long Fu, how should I deal with this? Master, it is almost impossible for you to destroy the bloodwolves. As long as the Starry Sky Domain Lord does not die, the Bloodwolf army will not be destroyed. Long Fu roughly understood what Longao meant. It was almost impossible to destroy the Bloodwolf army. The real way to destroy the Bloodwolf army was to find the Starry Sky Domain Lord and kill him. In this way, the Bloodwolf army would be destroyed automatically. The most important thing now was to find the whereabouts of the Starry Sky Domain Lord. However, he was surrounded by countless bloodwolves. It was almost impossible for him to move. As for using his primordial spirit to detect, it was even more impossible. Under such circumstances, he could only rely on Long Fu's power to locate the Starry Sky Domain Lord. As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Long Fu said, Master, I am still unable to locate the Starry Sky Domain Lord. Give me some time. I will try my best to locate him. Longao ordered the Starry Sky Soul Slaves to attack the Bloodwolf army crazily. He did not put all his hope on Long Fu. Even if Long Fu could not locate the Starry Sky Domain Lord, he might be able to handle it himself. The attacks of the Starry Sky Soul Slaves suddenly became fierce. Coupled with the invincible defense, Longao began to move forward slowly. This direction was the entrance to the second level. Longao had thought about it. Even if he could not locate the Starry Sky Domain Lord, as long as he could leave the first level, he believed that the Bloodwolf army's attack would immediately stop. They would not follow him to the second level. However, Longao's idea was too simple. Even with the attacks of the Starry Sky Soul Slaves, it was not easy to move. Even if he could move, he could only move slowly, like an ant. Even so, Longao did not give up. The number of bloodwolves around him kept increasing. In the incomparably dark space, there were bloodwolves everywhere. Their bodies were covered in blood and their eyes were cold. Gradually, the countless bloodwolves emitted a bloody mist, which began to intertwine into a huge bloody net. The huge bloody net fiercely suppressed him. Longao was shocked. He could clearly feel that the power of the huge bloody net was very terrifying. If he was trapped by it, the consequences would be unimaginable. The huge bloody net fiercely shrouded Longao. P.S. The 9th chapter has been delivered. The 10th chapter will be delivered a little later. Chapter 1946. Needless to say, the power of the blood-red giant net was unimaginable. Even Longao was abnormally fearful. He did not dare to be enveloped by the blood-red giant net. Otherwise, no one knew what the consequences would be. But the result? The blood-red giant net had locked onto Longao's position and was moving towards Longao at a very fast speed. He could not use the space teleport at all. After all, the space was too small. As for the dragon seal space, this place had been locked. Of course, he could not enter it. At most, he could communicate with Long Fu. What should he do? Just as the blood-red giant net was about to reach him, Longao gritted his teeth and was ready to meet force with force. After all, at this time, he could not be shrouded by the blood-red giant net. Holding the reincarnation sword, Longao roared and fiercely slashed at the blood-red giant net. Not only that. In order to completely destroy the blood-red giant net, Longao mobilized hundreds of starry sky soul slaves and all rushed towards the blood-red giant net. A loud noise. Blood splashed everywhere. After losing hundreds of starry sky soul slaves, the blood-red giant net was finally destroyed. Longao was very depressed. Because he could clearly feel that the blood-red giant net was also an illusory thing, but it could still be endless. Did he have to keep losing starry sky soul slaves? When all the starry sky soul slaves were lost, how should he deal with it? Therefore, he had to think of a solution as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would have been destroyed before he could reach the entrance to the second layer. Longao sped up, but even so, his speed was still very slow. The number of the Blood Wolf army was too many. If he did not deal with the Blood Wolf army around him, he would not be able to move at all. Even the Starry Sky Soul Slave army could not kill all the Blood Wolves. Even so, in just 20 minutes or so, countless Blood Wolf corpses appeared on the ground. However, they would soon turn into a cloud of blood mist and disappear without a trace. Tens of thousands of Starry Sky Soul Slaves, under the attack of the Blood Wolf army, were constantly decreasing in number. Thousands of Starry Sky Soul Slaves were completely destroyed. It would be a lie to say that he did not feel distressed. Tens of thousands of Starry Sky Soul Slaves, he had painstakingly killed them one by one and then refined by Long Fu. Having an army of Starry Sky Soul Slaves would be of great help to him. Master, use the power of the Dragon Seal. Dragon Seal? Hearing Long Fu's spiritual sense transmission, Longao was very curious. In any case, once he forcibly borrowed the power of the Dragon Seal, he would definitely suffer a backlash. Moreover, it was at this time. Even if his cultivation base had broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Lord Realm, it would still be useless against the encirclement of the Blood Wolf army. Master. Long Fu's message suddenly appeared in his mind. It turned out that Long Fu didn't want him to borrow the power of the Dragon Seal, but to use the Dragon Seal to attack directly. Longao almost forgot that the Dragon Seal was also a Starry Sky Spirit artifact. The Black Seal appeared in Longao's hand. He threw it at the Blood Wolf army in front of him in anticipation. A terrifying scene appeared. The Dragon Seal might not be able to attack a Starry Sky powerhouse, but a large-scale attack was the most terrifying. The Black Seal, which was only the size of a palm, instantly expanded countless times when it was thrown out. The Dragon Seal was like a mountain, directly pressing down on Blood Wolf. Boom! Without any suspense, one could imagine the power of the Dragon Seal. As soon as it pressed down, thousands of Blood Wolves were instantly destroyed. Not only that, but the speed of the Dragon Seal was also extremely fast, continuously pressing down. Every time it pressed down, thousands of Blood Wolves were destroyed, turning into blood mist and disappearing. Seeing this situation, Longao was pleasantly surprised to the extreme. After putting all the Starry Sky Spirit slaves into the Dragon Seal space, Longao took a big stride and rushed out. If he continued to use the power of the Starry Sky Spirit slaves, not only would it not help him, but it would also hinder him. It would be much smoother if he was alone. The Dragon Seal opened the way, and Longao followed behind. The speed of the Dragon Seal was fast, but Longao was even faster. Just a moment ago, he was as slow as a snail, but now he was as fast as a rocket. However, Longao knew very well that he had to end the battle quickly. Otherwise, who knew what the consequences would be? Kid, you're really powerful, but it won't be easy to get through me. At this time, an illusory voice suddenly came from all directions. Longao's speed did not decrease at all, because he had already guessed that the person who just spoke must be the Starry Sky Domain Lord guarding the first floor of the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. With a boom, countless blood wolves began to attack the dragon seal. Even with the dragon seal's power, it was still forcibly blocked. The dragon seal shrunk and returned to Longao's hand. The first floor of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda was already so dangerous. It was hard to imagine what kind of danger would there be in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and even the 7th floor of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. The blood wolf army also stopped attacking. The countless blood wolves in front of Longao slowly gathered and turned into a human figure. It was a tall man, wearing a blood-red robe. "Who are you?" "You can call me Blood Wolf. I'm the one guarding the 1st floor of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. You're good to be able to withstand the attack of my blood wolf phantom." "But kid, as I said, even if you can withstand it temporarily, you can't enter the 2nd floor. Blood wolf phantom." In other words, the countless blood wolves that attacked him just now were actually phantoms. It was the same principle as the illusory formation. The power of this illusory formation could be said to be strong, but also not strong. The main reason was that the opponent was the Starry Sky Domain Lord. If it were a low-level Starry Sky cultivator, he could choose to ignore it. "Are you afraid?" Without giving Longao the slightest chance to speak, Bloodwolf said with a smile, "For countless years, countless people have entered the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Except for the Starry Sky Domain King or the Starry Sky Domain Emperor, no one can leave the 1st floor alive. You're no exception." On this point, Longao absolutely believed. He had personally experienced the attack of the Blood Wolf illusory formation. If it weren't for the help of the Dragon Seal and the Starry Sky Soul Slave Army, it would have been difficult for him to withstand the attack of countless blood wolves with his own strength. If it were someone else, not to mention an ordinary Starry Sky cultivator, even a level 9 Starry Sky cultivator or a Starry Sky Domain Lord would find it difficult to withstand the attack of the Bloodwolf army. However, Longao had gradually figured out the pattern of the illusory formation. He was confident that he could leave the 1st floor and enter the 2nd floor of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. As for the dangers behind, it was not something he should consider at the moment. He could only take one step at a time. No matter what happened, he must set foot on the 2nd floor of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, break the seal, and leave the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. He must not be sealed here. P.S. Chapter 10 delivered. Chapter 1947. Bloodwolf was full of confidence. If he left the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, his Bloodwolf illusion would not be so powerful. But in the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, the situation was completely reversed. He was invincible below the Starry Sky region Emperor. Bloodwolf could clearly sense that the other party was just a level 7 Starry Sky cultivator. It was a miracle that he could resist his Bloodwolf illusion. Bloodwolf was not a fool. He already knew what went wrong. Was it because of the other party's strength? Definitely not. The biggest reason why the other party could resist his Bloodwolf illusion was because of the Starry Sky Divine Artifact and the Soul Slave. Boy, let's start. The only way to break the Bloodwolf illusion is to kill you. You. Hearing this, Bloodwolf's face was full of contempt and ridicule. Not to mention a level 7 Starry Sky cultivator, even the Starry Sky region Emperor would not dare to talk nonsense here. This was the 1st floor of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, his territory. He was practically an immortal existence. Longao did not continue to speak. Under the space teleportation, his body had disappeared without a trace. Since his cultivation had broken through continuously, especially to the Starry Sky cultivator, Longao found that his space teleportation power had increased by more than 100 times. At least he was not afraid of any space locking and fluctuations. However, the Dragon Seal space could not do it yet. Maybe the Dragon Seal had not recovered its strength. Disappeared right under his nose. Seeing this, Bloodwolf seemed a little surprised and stepped back. The next second, Longao's figure had appeared. Using his fingers as a sword, the terrifying reincarnation sword Chi quickly followed the momentum. If it was just the reincarnation sword Chi, Bloodwolf would not be afraid at all. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao had integrated the shattering starry sky into the reincarnation sword chi. A terrifying starry sky crack as thick as an arm appeared. F***CK. Of course, Bloodwolf knew the so-called shattering starry sky. The starry sky crack was not only the nemesis of starry sky cultivators, but also the nemesis of starry sky divine beasts. A starry sky crack appeared around him. Bloodwolf hurriedly dodged. Otherwise, once he was swallowed by the starry sky crack, he would almost certainly die. He did not succeed. He still didn't succeed. Longao gave out a deep sigh in his heart. It seems that if he wanted to fully grasp shattering starry skies, he would not be able to do so with his current strength. Initially, Ning Cheng thought that after breaking through to grade 7 starry skies cultivator, not only would his strength soar, even his mastery over the shattering starry skies would greatly improve. It seemed that he was overthinking things. But even so, it was enough to scare Bloodwolf. "Brat, you dare to trick me?" While he was angry, Bloodwolf's face was also full of surprise and greed. Breaking the starry sky was such a heaven-defying magical power that everyone wanted to get, including Bloodwolf. "Kid, how about we make a bet? Tell me about it." If Xuelang disappeared, he would be in a passive position in the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. After all, Xuelang's illusion was too powerful. It would not be easy for him to break the illusion. The only way to break the illusion was to kill Bloodwolf. However, it was impossible to kill Bloodwolf in the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. "Let's fight. If you win, I will let you enter the 2nd floor of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. If you lose, I will not kill you. You will accompany me here for 1,000 years and hand over your shattering starry skies. At that time, I will still let you enter the 2nd floor. How about it?" Bloodwolf knew very well why Xuelang wanted to enter the 2nd floor. There were 7 floors in the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Everyone who was suppressed here wanted to go to the 7th floor because they had to go to the 7th floor if they wanted to leave the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Only on the 7th floor could they leave. No problem. Xuelang did not even think about it and agreed without any consideration. Bloodwolf seemed a little surprised. He never thought that Xuelang would agree so quickly. Did Xuelang have a trick up his sleeve? It seemed that shattering starry skies was not enough. Bloodwolf knew very well that although Xuelang had the shattering starry skies spirit technique, he could not really master it and exert the true power of shattering starry skies. If Xuelang's cultivation could break through the starry skies domain lord, even if he was a level 9 starry skies cultivator, once he used shattering starry skies, the result would be different. Everything was hypothetical. After all, Xuelang was not a level 9 starry skies cultivator or a starry skies domain lord. He was just a level 7 starry skies cultivator. The gap between the two was too big. If Xuelang could obtain shattering starry skies, Bloodwolf was confident that with Bloodwolf's illusion, not to mention a starry skies domain lord, he could even successfully kill a starry skies domain emperor. This was the true power of shattering starry skies. The more he thought about it, the greedier he became. The more he thought about it, the more he wanted it, and the more he could not wait. However, before he could make a move, Longao had already made his move. Because Longao knew that the strength gap between him and Bloodwolf was too big. They were not on the same level at all. Instead of passively taking a beating, it was better to take the initiative to attack and gain the initiative by striking first. In this way, he might be able to gain the upper hand. Thinking of this, Longao did not continue to hesitate. Like a cheetah, he rushed out again. Before he arrived, the terrifying reincarnation sword chi had already been released, along with shattering starry skies. Now that Longao could use shattering starry skies continuously, was Bloodwolf not afraid? Bloodwolf was certainly afraid. Even if Longao could not really use the power of shattering starry skies and his strength was low, but if he used shattering starry skies continuously and got swallowed by the starry skies crack, the consequences would be unimaginable. Because of this, even if Bloodwolf was full of confidence, he was still cautious. Caution is the parent of safety. Bloodwolf did not want to appear in case, so he had to be careful. Longao and Bloodwolf started to fight, which made him feel relieved. He would rather fight with a Starry Sky Domain Lord than face countless Bloodwolf's army. It was a bit ked up. Apart from constantly losing Starry Sky soul slaves, he could not cause any harm to Bloodwolf at all. Attacking Bloodwolf's illusion was like attacking the air. Was it useful? It was useless. However, Longao was very clear about the strength gap between him and Bloodwolf. After all, the gap between a level 7 Starry Sky Cultivator and a Starry Sky Domain Lord was too big. Longao continuously used Reincarnation Sword Chi and Shattering Starry Skies. He did not give Bloodwolf any chance to breathe, nor did he give Bloodwolf any chance to counterattack. He must seize the opportunity and not lose the initiative. Otherwise, things would be very troublesome. P.S. Chapter 1. Chapter 1948. Under the continuous release of Reincarnation Sword Chi, Longao did not stop. Annihilation Palm, countless palm shadows appeared. Bloodwolf was very depressed. He thought that the opponent was just lucky to have Breaking Sky. But the result? He never thought that the opponent's strength was so strong that he could really fight against him with the strength of a Starry Sky level 7 cultivator. If he had not experienced it personally, it would have been unbelievable. Was this true? Now Bloodwolf had no chance to fight back at all, being suppressed by Longao. The opportunity came. Longao knew that with his own strength, even with Reincarnation Sword Chi and Destruction Palm, and using Breaking Sky, it was impossible to successfully kill Bloodwolf. The Starry Sky Domain Master was the Starry Sky Domain Master, there was no discussion. But things had come to this point, he had to kill Bloodwolf to have a chance to enter the 2nd floor and continue to the 7th floor. If he wanted to leave the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda, he must go to the 2nd floor. And the first task was to kill Bloodwolf in front of him. If people blocked him, he would kill them. The dragon seal appeared in Longao's hand. At the same time, the dragon seal was fiercely thrown out by Longao. The palm-sized black seal instantly turned into a gigantic black seal as it flew through the air. Boom! He had to admit that Bloodwolf's speed was indeed fast, even faster than the dragon seal. Completely shocked. Because Bloodwolf knew the result of being hit by the black seal. Such a Starry Sky divine weapon made Bloodwolf greedy again. Breaking Sky, plus the black seal, coupled with his Bloodwolf illusion, was simply perfect and flawless. Boy, now it's time for me to fight back. Fight back. Would Longao give Bloodwolf a chance to fight back? Certainly not. Longao constantly smashed out small black seals. Under the situation of incomparably fast speed, not to mention counterattack, whether Bloodwolf could dodge the fierce smashing of the huge black seal was still a big problem. Gradually, Bloodwolf found that something was wrong. If it went on like this, he would be killed by the black seal sooner or later. No, he must fight back and take back the initiative. He roared angrily. Bloodwolf was angry to the extreme, but at the same time, he was extremely depressed. Over the years, such a thing had never happened before. Yet, he ended up suppressed by a puny grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator. It was simply a shame. Bloodwolf illusion. In desperation, Bloodwolf was ready to use the Bloodwolf illusion because he found a fact that he was extremely unwilling to admit. It seemed that it was difficult to kill the other party by relying on his own body, and he couldn't even take the initiative. Countless blood wolves appeared once again. The surroundings were densely packed with blood wolves, each of them emitting a cold, murderous aura. Kill. With a single command, countless blood wolves rushed over from all directions. Their target was Longao. There was nothing wrong with that, but no matter what, Bloodwolf's illusion was always Bloodwolf's ability. It was normal for him to use it. If it was at the beginning, Longao might have been flustered, but now, he had a completely calm expression, without the slightest bit of panic. Seeing this situation, Bloodwolf's heart suddenly thumped. A bad premonition appeared. The other party was fearless. Did he have something to rely on? Impossible. That was completely impossible. Even if the other party wanted to use the broken starry sky and the black giant seal, he would not be able to deal with his Bloodwolf illusion. Unless the other party's cultivation broke through to the starry sky domain lord realm. It was just a possibility, not 100%. If the other party's cultivation could break through to the starry sky domain lord realm, Bloodwolf would not continue to fight and just hide. In the end, Bloodwolf still did not put Longao in his eyes. The reason why he could fight against his Bloodwolf illusion was not because of his own strength, but because of a starry sky spirit artifact. Using an illusion to break an illusion. Don't forget that Longao was also an array master, a grade 7 starry sky array master. What kind of concept was that? Array masters not only had a high status in the Tianwu continent, but even in the vast starry sky, they were also existences that could not be provoked. 1 against 5, killing enemies above one's level, this was synonymous with an array master. Longao prepared to use an illusion array to break the other party's illusion. However, his strength was not enough. If he could continue to break through and become a grade 9 starry sky cultivator, he would become a grade 9 starry sky array master. Then, he could easily break through the other party's Bloodwolf illusion. However, he could not do it now. To be precise, he could not do it by himself. The only way was to use the broken starry sky. Although the price of doing so was a bit high, in this case, Longao also went all out. He did not want to waste any time and had to end the battle quickly. The longer he delayed, the more unfavorable it would be for him. Seeing the other party no longer attacking him and instead starting to do something, Bloodwolf became curious. Regardless of the situation, he directly used the Bloodwolf illusion. Countless Bloodwolves once again flew out and shot towards Longao. If he was surrounded by countless Bloodwolves, Longao's death would be useless. Although the Bloodwolf illusion was an illusion, the attacks of the Bloodwolves were real. This was the horror of an illusion. Although it was illusory, it had real attacks. Just as the Bloodwolves approached, Longao's body suddenly exuded a terrifying reincarnation sword chi, the so-called reincarnation sword array, along with an illusion array and the broken starry sky. Using himself as the eye of the array, Longao took a huge risk. If he could not break the other party's illusion, then he would definitely suffer a backlash. At that time, the Bloodwolves would take advantage of the situation and attack Longao. However, in this case, Longao obviously went all out, regardless of the consequences. If he succeeded, he would smoothly leave the first floor and go to the second floor. If he failed, it would mean death, a real life and death moment. Illusion array? Illusion array. You are actually a mother *king array master. *ck. He was completely angry and also completely stunned because array master and martial artist were two different concepts. Moreover, Bloodwolf could clearly sense that the other party's array level was obviously not weak, and he was already very clear about Longao's meaning. Using an illusion array to break an illusion. However, thinking that the other party's strength was only a grade 7 starry sky cultivator, Bloodwolf felt more or less relieved. If it was a grade 9 starry sky array master or a starry sky domain master, then this matter would be troublesome. However, it was only a grade 7 starry sky array master, so he could completely ignore it. If the other party could really break his illusion array, then it was almost impossible. Bloodwolf did not believe it at all, nor did he want to believe it. After all, it was beyond his understanding. P.S. Send the second chapter. Chapter 1949. Xuelang still underestimated Longao. Longao was simply an anomaly, a person who liked to create miracles. Illusion array breaking illusion technique. In just a few minutes, the surrounding Xuelang had been severely injured. He did not know if the array eye was broken, but countless Xuelang instantly disappeared. What the hell happened? The other party really broke his Xuelang illusion technique. This time, Xuelang was completely dumbfounded, with a look of disbelief. He could not believe it, nor could he believe it. If it was outside, or a starry sky domain master, breaking his Xuelang illusion technique would be fine. But the problem now was that the other party was just a small starry sky array master. Even if he saw it with his own eyes, Xuelang was not willing to believe that what just happened was real. Xuelang, you lost. He did not want to continue fighting. Although he could break Xuelang's illusion, Xuelang was still a starry sky domain master. It was simply impossible for him to kill the other party. As long as he could smoothly leave the first floor, Xuelang's life and death had nothing to do with him. For the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, he was just a passerby. Hurried here, hurried away. I lost. Xuelang admitted defeat. Xuelang suddenly laughed crazily. There were too many meanings in his laughter. Boy, I have to admit that you really surprised me. I also admire your strength, but as the guardian of the first floor of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, I can't let you go. Otherwise, I will be killed by the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. So that was it. Longao finally knew the reason. If that was the case, there was only one way to leave the first floor of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, and that was to kill Xuelang. Come on, I want to see if you have anything else to surprise me. As you wish. It was still a preemptive strike. This time, Longao continued to use space teleportation and dragon seal. With the combination of the two, the power was not as simple as 1 + 1. However, the absolute gap between the realms made Longao slowly lose the initiative, and Xuelang began to slowly take the initiative. This was the absolute gap between realms. The gap between a starry sky domain master and a starry sky domain master was too big. Not giving up. If he wanted to leave, he would have to fight. Bloodwolf was also infected by Longao's persistence. If they were outside, he would have chosen to give up and let him go. But now, he couldn't do it. If he gave up on stopping it, he would be killed by the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. The battle instantly stopped. Bloodwolf seemed a little curious, not knowing what the other party wanted to do. Senior Bloodwolf, although your strength is far above mine, it's almost impossible for you to kill me. With my strength, it's absolutely impossible for me to kill you. He nodded in agreement. This was what made Bloodwolf depressed. Not only did the Bloodwolf illusion technique break, but even with his strength, he couldn't kill a puny grade 7 starry sky cultivator. It was simply unbelievable. What do you want? Bloodwolf was not a fool. He must have known that the other party was interested in him. Otherwise, he would not have stopped. Senior Bloodwolf, why don't you and I make a bet? If I win, you let me leave the first floor. If I lose, I will accompany you for 1,000 years and give you all my secrets. How about it? That's what I want. Bloodwolf liked the kid in front of him very much. Whether it was his personality or his persistence, he liked him very much. If it weren't for his persistence, he believed that he would have died long ago. Let's start. Longao borrowed spatial teleportation, his body already disappeared from where he stood. Bloodwolf was not in a hurry. Although he was shocked by the other party's teleportation, Bloodwolf's speed was also very fast. As soon as Longao appeared, Bloodwolf was already far away, not giving Longao the slightest chance. Reincarnation 6th style, Reincarnation Rain Strike. After successfully breaking through to grade 7 starry sky cultivator, Longao could now use the Reincarnation 6th style and Reincarnation 7th style, and Reincarnation Rain Strike was precisely Reincarnation Rain Strike. Reincarnation 36 styles, the first style Reincarnation 9/, the second style Reincarnation Chaotic Dance, the third style Reincarnation Mad Dance, the fourth style Reincarnation 10,000 Feet Rainbow, the fifth style Reincarnation Meteorite Explosion, and the sixth style Reincarnation Rain Strike. Longao did not use any of them, but used them one after another. As for the Reincarnation 6th style, Reincarnation Rain Strike, when the Reincarnation Sword Chi came out, it looked like rain. Countless Sword Chi appeared and started to attack Bloodwolf. It was truly startling. What a powerful Sword Chi attack! Not daring to show the slightest carelessness, Bloodwolf immediately released an Chi cover to forcibly resist the Sword Chi. Could Longao break through the Chi cover arranged by Bloodwolf? At least the Reincarnation 6th style, Reincarnation Rain Strike, seemed to be a bit lacking. However, Longao did not feel discouraged, because he had already guessed that this was just a prelude, a move to confuse Bloodwolf. The real killing move was the Reincarnation 7th style. After successfully breaking through to the Grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator, Longao comprehended 2 Reincarnation killing moves in a row. The first move was the Reincarnation 6th style, Reincarnation Rainstrike, while the second move was the Reincarnation 7th style, Reincarnation Point. Without waiting for Bloodwolf to react, and taking advantage of the fact that Bloodwolf did not pay attention to his attack, Longao quickly made his move. Reincarnation Point continuously chopped out countless Reincarnation Sword Chi, which directly merged into a single point of Sword Chi and attacked Bloodwolf's Chi cover. Boom! With a loud bang, the Chi cover arranged by Bloodwolf was directly broken by the Sword Chi. Longao did not continue to make his move. He just stood in the same place and watched quietly. Longao knew very well that even if he could break the other party's Chi cover with the help of Reincarnation Point, he would never be able to kill the other party. The strength of a Starry Sky Domain Lord could not be underestimated. Relying on his current strength as a Grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator, it was definitely not enough. Bloodwolf was also a little dumbfounded. Looking at the broken Chi cover, he sighed helplessly and said, "What's your name?" Longao. Longao suddenly felt happy in his heart. Since coming in, Bloodwolf had never asked for his name. Longao knew very well that this was because Bloodwolf looked down on him and disdained to know his name. But now, the situation was different. Bloodwolf seemed to have truly acknowledged him, so how could he not be happy? "Kid, you are really good. With the strength of a Grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator, you can break the Chi cover I released. It is hard to imagine what kind of situation you will face when your cultivation breaks through to the Starry Sky Domain Lord. Go. I have already lost. The passage is right there." The passage appeared less than 100 meters away from Longao. As the guardian of the first floor of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda, Bloodwolf could freely move the entrance. P.S. Chapter 3. Chapter 1950. Thank you, Senior. Longao was not polite at all. It was his own effort to get Bloodwolf's recognition. "Wait. What's the matter, Senior?" There was no worry because Longao knew Bloodwolf's character very well. He was not the kind of person who would go back on his words. Although the guy on the second floor of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda is also a Starry Sky Domain Lord, he is extremely difficult to deal with. "You have to be careful. Thank you for your reminder. I'll give you something. Remember, don't use it casually. Wait until he is not on guard." Bloodwolf did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. "Taking the thing." Longao bowed deeply to him. "Go." Bloodwolf's figure disappeared and the whole space returned to calm again. It was a blessing in disguise to be able to pass the first floor. If he had not used reincarnation at the last moment, he would not have been able to break Bloodwolf's Chi shield, let alone leave the first floor and go to the second floor. Stepping into the entrance passage. Step by step, he walked up the passage stairs and went to the second floor. The second floor of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda was a space of flames. Looking at the endless flames around him, Longao was not surprised. But what made him curious was that although there were endless flames, he did not feel the slightest heat. Instead, there was a kind of cold feeling. Ice and fire. 2 extreme forces appeared in the same space. It was a bit unbelievable. "You can pass the first floor of Bloodwolf." Not simple. The man in front of him sensed that he was only a level 7 Starry Sky Cultivator and was shocked. Flame knew Bloodwolf's strength very well. Bloodwolf's strength was almost the same as his, but his flame and ice power were far more powerful than Bloodwolf's illusion, so he guarded the second floor. "Senior Flame, Senior Bloodwolf asked me to say hello to you." "Ha ha ha, you passed the first floor. I'm afraid Bloodwolf will be depressed." Bloodwolf was indeed depressed. "Senior, what should I do? Even if I successfully pass, what should I do?" Longao didn't want to dilly-dally. He didn't want to stay here for even a moment. If he could leave earlier, he would leave earlier. Flame stopped laughing and looked at the space around him. He said, The space I guard is called flame and ice. If you can withstand these two powers for 2 hours, you will pass. All right. The flaming figure disappeared. Longao didn't look down on 2 hours. Although it was only 2 hours, he still had to resist the continuous attacks of fire and ice. Begin. The entire space changed. A moment ago, it was still a sea of flames. Now, it was half fire and half ice. This was the true space of fire and ice. Endless flames and ice began to attack Longao in a frenzy. In truth, Longao did not pay much attention to it. However, after that attack, Longao's expression suddenly changed. Longao retreated again and again. However, the fire and ice attacks were too fast, giving him no chance to dodge. He was continuously attacked. He immediately released his chi shield, but it was very difficult to resist the attack of two different forces. Longao's defensive power was not what it used to be. Even if he was attacked by fire and ice, he would only suffer minor injuries at most. If it was someone else, they would have died long ago. Longao finally understood why Xuelang could only guard the first level while Huiyang could guard the second level. It was because Huiyang's attacks were far above Xuelang's. Blood Wolf illusion was already terrifying enough. Now that he saw Flame's attack, it was simply abnormal. He had to think of a way. Otherwise, in his current situation, he would not last more than 5 minutes. With space teleportation, Longao's situation became better. "Huh!" A surprised voice sounded. Flame did not expect that the other party could use space teleportation. But even so, what could it do? Under the dual attack of flame and ice, not to mention a small starry sky cultivator, even if Bloodwolf came in person, it would be difficult to resist. Longao also knew very well that going on like this was not a solution. Did he have to use what Bloodwolf gave him? In the end, Longao chose to give up, because according to Bloodwolf, he had to use it when Flame was not paying attention. He believed that Bloodwolf must have his own reasons. If it did not work, it would be too late for him to regret. Flame and ice each occupied half. Longao came to the gap between the two. Facing the gap, Longao used his finger as a sword and directly slashed forward. Reincarnation Sword Chi followed the momentum and attacked the gap fiercely. Flame's figure appeared, and the surrounding flame and ice disappeared instantly. Flame looked shocked, as if he could not believe what had just happened. He said in shock, "You can actually lock my position?" He could not believe it. If it was in other places, it would be normal to be locked, but here, in his own territory, not to mention the other party, even Bloodwolf could not lock his specific position. "How did you do it?" Flame really wanted to know, because for countless years, even the Starry Sky Domain Emperor could not lock his position. The person in front of him was the first. "Space fluctuations, I sensed your existence, and then locked your position." It was not a secret, so Longao did not hide it in the slightest. He roughly explained how he did it. It was very dignified. Flame knew very well how the other party did it, but talking about it was one thing, and actually doing it was another. Even Flame could not do it. It seemed that the other party's perception of space was very powerful. "Boy, since you can lock my position, I will not make things difficult for you. As long as you can hold on for 10 minutes under my attack, I will let you go. How about it?" Flame obviously liked Longao, otherwise, it would not have acted like this. Its own attack could not be compared with the flame and ice attacks. If it used the two forces, Longao's chances of holding on were almost zero, but Flame did not do so. "Thank you, Senior." How could Longao not see that Flame cared about him? Whether it was Bloodwolf or Flame, both of them were very good people. It was a pity that they could only guard the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. If they could leave this place and become friends with him, it would be a good thing. Longao did not continue to dwell on this problem, because he knew that his top priority was to leave this place as soon as possible. There were still 5 more levels, and who knew what dangers there would be. He could only take one step at a time, and hope that he could smoothly reach the 7th level of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, and then leave this damned place. "Boy, Be careful, I am going to start. P.S. Chapter 4 sent here. Chapter 1951. The flame's attack was not like Bloodwolf's. It was very powerful, like a storm. Not daring to be careless, Longao used his finger as a sword and continuously used the reincarnation sword chi and the space crack. Space crack. All of a sudden. Seeing the space crack around him, the flame was completely dumbfounded. Is this the space crack? The flame knew very well what the space crack meant. It was the nemesis of the cultivators in the starry sky. Even if he was swallowed by the space crack, he would definitely die. Here came the opportunity. Longao did not intend to kill the flame with the space crack. The flame was not bad. His purpose was to pass the second floor, not to kill people. He took out the thing that Bloodwolf gave him. It was a blood map. The huge blood map released a very strange power. The flame, who was shocked by the space crack, was suddenly enveloped by the blood map. His face changed. Boy, I lost. Ah! He admitted defeat. When the blood diagram disappeared, Longao also had a face full of shock. What happened just now? He thought it would be a fierce battle, but unexpectedly, the battle was over in just a few seconds. He thanked Bloodwolf because Longao knew very well that the flame admitted defeat not because he was afraid of his strength, but because of the blood map given by Bloodwolf. It was hard to imagine that it was true. The flame's face changed again and again. He cursed fiercely, Bloodwolf is really shameless. He gave you the blood map. Under the blood map, I can only choose to admit defeat. Otherwise, I will be swallowed by the blood map. Without giving Longao a chance to speak, the flame continued, it seems that you are really good. Otherwise, Bloodwolf would not give you the blood map and help you like this. In this case, I will not stop you. I hope you can go to the 7th floor and leave here. Thank you, Senior. He was overjoyed. Longao did not expect that he would pass the 2nd floor so smoothly. Boy, I will not help you because it is against the rules, but I can give you a reminder. The guardian of the 3rd floor is not a human, but a divine beast. Remember, space lock. After that, the flame disappeared. The flame was restored. Space lock. Does the flame mean that I can use space lock to deal with him? The entrance to the 3rd floor appeared. Longao still hadn't thought of it. However, it wasn't the right time to dwell on this matter. Regardless, he decided to take it one step at a time. Let's go up first. Stepping on the stairs, Longao's figure slowly disappeared from the 2nd floor. Longao had just left. Flame and Bloodwolf appeared at the same time. Flame was still angry, but Bloodwolf was smiling. Bloodwolf, you are too shameless. This kid is really not bad. He's to my liking. I don't mind helping him. HMPH. Snorting coldly, the flame cursed, do you know that if this kid didn't stop in time, I would have been devoured by the blood diagram. We have been friends for so many years. How dare you try to harm me? Bloodwolf looked indifferent. The more indifferent he was, the angrier the flame became. That's enough. You and I have been friends for so many years. Would I really harm you? I know this person's character very well. He won't do anything. The flame suddenly laughed. Bloodwolf, aren't you afraid that the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda will kill you? No, I know what I'm doing. The flame cursed inwardly. What a cunning old fox. Bloodwolf's face was slightly serious. We can only help him up to here. From the 3rd floor onwards, even we have no right to interfere. However, this kid's situation is very special. Maybe he can really leave the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Is that really okay? Bloodwolf believed it, but the flame didn't believe it at all. He knew the situation of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Not to mention a level 7 starry sky cultivator, even a starry sky region emperor couldn't leave. Since the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda was obtained by the heavenly Tao, it had been hidden. The 7 orifices exquisite pagoda was the trump card of the heavenly Tao. Outside the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, Although they knew that they couldn't enter the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, they still didn't leave. They were all thinking of different ways to enter the pagoda. In the meantime, the 2 Starry Sky Territory ancestors and 6 Starry Sky region emperors joined hands to attack the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. However, the result was still in vain. No one was surprised because the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda was too powerful. Brother Hong Lin, what should we do now? What should they do? Hong Lin didn't know either. He said helplessly, with our strength alone, we can't break the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda even if we join hands. The only way now is to find the owner of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Only then can we open the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Difficult. How could Hong Lin not know how difficult it was? As long as the owner didn't appear, no one would be able to find him. In that case, no one would be able to enter the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. If it was something else, no one would care about it. However, the secret technique to break the starry sky and increase one's strength was too tempting. Not to mention others, even the 2 Starry Sky Territory ancestors couldn't resist such temptation. As for the primal chaos stone tablets, no one believed it. Not to mention whether Longao could get the primal chaos stone tablets. How could the 12 primal chaos stone tablets appear in a mid-grade realm? In the vast starry sky, there were countless realms. They were divided into low-grade realms, mid-grade realms, and high-grade realms. It didn't matter if it was a mid-grade realm or a low-grade realm, they were all looked down upon by starry sky cultivators. Although mid-grade realms could also have starry sky cultivators, the only holy land for cultivation was the so-called high-grade realms. The 2 of them sighed deeply, their faces helpless. Although they had entered the Sky Martial realm for the Starry Sky Secret Territory, in their opinion, with their super-strong strength, they were invincible. However, after entering the Sky Martial realm, they had been hit to the extreme. First of all, the divine mathematician was not only a Starry Sky Territory ancestor, but his strength was also far above them. Even if the 2 of them joined hands, they still couldn't defeat the divine mathematician. If they hadn't experienced it themselves, they wouldn't have believed that the divine mathematician was so strong. Second of all, Longao was just a 3rd-grade starry sky cultivator. Originally, he was just an ant. As long as they wanted to, they could easily destroy him. However, in the end, Longao's trump cards were endless. After 2 months, they still couldn't kill Longao. Was this true? Until now, the 2 of them still couldn't believe that with their strength, they couldn't kill a 3rd-grade starry sky cultivator. Author's note: the 5th chapter is here. Xiao Ju is asking for tickets. If you have tickets, please give them to Longao. Thank you. Chapter 1952. Heaven Dao Union. Now, the heavenly Dao was truly depressed to the extreme. Initially, with the help of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda to suppress Longao, he should have been able to kill Longao and obtain all the secrets of Longao. But in the end, till now, the Heaven Dao still did not know who had leaked this information. Could it be Xingkuan? Impossible. The Heaven Dao had full confidence that Xingkuan would not dare to do such a thing. Lin Fan sighed deeply. Now that things had come to this, he could not head out. If anyone were to find out that the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda was his, even the clairvoyant would be in trouble. What should he do? Given the current situation, he could only wait. In 10 months, the Star Secret Grounds would open up. If nothing went wrong, all the cultivators would enter the Star Secret Grounds. By then, it wouldn't be too late for him to head over to the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. As for Longao, in a month's time, he would be cultivated by the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. By then, all he had to do was to enter the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda and reap the rewards. 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, level 3, the entire space was grayish-black. Longao had no idea about the situation on the 3rd level. He didn't know who was guarding the 3rd floor. According to the flame, the 3rd floor was guarded by a space divine beast. If he wasn't mistaken, this space divine beast wasn't an ordinary space divine beast. It should be a Space Domain Lord Divine Beast. Senior, please show yourself. To think that a level 7 space cultivator could pass the first and second level. HMPH, Yang Hua and Xuelang are trash. Hearing the other party's words, Longao's heart skipped a beat. This space beast was not easy to talk to, unlike Xuelang and Yang Hua. Pshoo, 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 a shadow flashed by. Speed-type space beast. Instantly, Longao understood what Yang Hua was talking about. He knew why Yang Hua wanted him to use the spacelock skill. Innate mystic skill, Dragon's Roar. As the Dragon's Roar rang out, the space around Longao was locked down. Hey! At the same time, Longao finally saw the other party's true face. It was a small figure with a pointy mouth and monkey-like cheeks. At first glance, it was obvious that it was not a good thing. Longao had already sensed the space demonic leopard's true form. Not only was the demonic star leopard powerful, but its speed was also extremely fast. Even if he wanted to rely on teleportation to suppress it, it was almost impossible. Furthermore, the space demonic leopard was clearly a domain lord, and the difference between them was too great. Even if he could suppress the opponent in terms of speed, what could he do? You can actually lock down space. Longao did not waste any more words. Under the lock of his innate mystique, Longao directly used his time shorekill technique. Time lock and time shatter. Not only that, but Longao also used Shatter the Starry Sky in order to kill the Starry Sky demonic leopard in one hit. Longao wanted to end the battle quickly because the Starry Sky demonic leopard was different from the Flame Wolf and the Blood Wolf. It would not show mercy to him. The Starry Sky demonic leopard, who had been full of confidence a moment ago, was now thoroughly shocked. He never thought that a puny grade 7 Starry Sky cultivator could actually shatter the Starry Sky and shatter time. Was this for real? Unbelievable. Unimaginable. The Starry Sky demonic leopard's eyes turned green. If he could obtain these secret techniques, then his strength would rise to a whole new level. At that time, even if he faced a Starry Sky domain emperor, he would not have to be afraid. Longao's secret techniques were too tempting. No matter who saw them, they would not be able to resist such a temptation. Especially Time Shatter and Shatter the Starry Sky. Even if placed in the vast Starry Sky, he believed that these two secret techniques could shake the entire Starry Sky. The Starry Sky demonic leopard moved so fast that one could only see its after images. If Longao's cultivation could break through 2 levels in a row and reach grade 9 Starry Sky cultivator, he would have the confidence to kill the Starry Sky demonic leopard. But now, with the absolute difference in cultivation level and the Starry Sky demonic leopard's superspeed, even Time Shatter and Shatter the Starry Sky could not devour the Starry Sky demonic leopard. Strength, in the end, was still not enough. Even if he had many shorekill techniques, because of the absolute difference in cultivation level, he would always be at a disadvantage and passive. However, the improvement of one's cultivation realm was not something that could be achieved just by talking about it. Moreover, Ning Cheng was quite lucky. Last time, with the help of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, his cultivation had broken through from grade 3 Starry Sky Cultivator to grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator in just half an hour. There was only one chance. It would be great if he could do it a few more times. However, Longao knew clearly that this kind of thing would not happen a second time. Otherwise, at this speed, he could become a Starry Sky territory ancestor at most 2 more times. The Starry Sky demonic leopard did not put Longao in its eyes. Even if the other party had Shatter the Starry Sky and Time Shatter, the absolute difference in cultivation level meant that the other party was not its opponent. The Starry Sky demonic leopard was fast, but it had never thought that the other party's speed was faster than its own. If Longao was still at grade 3 Starry Sky realm, even if he used space teleportation, he might not be the Starry Sky demonic leopard's opponent. However, the situation was completely different now. Longao's cultivation had reached grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator, and the power of space teleportation had increased by more than 1 level. Even the Starry Sky demonic leopard could not use its speed to suppress Longao. The starry sky demonic leopard was very depressed because it knew that no matter how fast it was, it could not be faster than space teleportation, which was the pinnacle of speed. No wonder the other party could pass the first and second floor consecutively. It seemed that the other party had some skills. Even so, the starry sky demonic leopard did not put Longao here. This place was its territory. Even if it could not suppress the other party in speed, it could still suppress the other party in terms of strength and space. Speaking of which, it was an incredible thing. Starry Sky Domain Lord and a Grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator were simply not on the same level. The gap between the two was just too big. If it were someone else, they would have already been killed by the Starry Sky Domain Lord. Longao was an exception, a miracle. The main reason was that Longao had too many secret techniques, such as Shattering Starry Sky, Time Shattering, Space Teleportation, Starry Sky Soul Servant, and Strength Enhancement. Each of these techniques could shake the vast starry sky. Longao did not choose to confront the starry sky demonic leopard head-on. While using space teleportation to quickly change his position, he constantly used his innate spirit abilities, time shattering, and even shattering starry sky. Longao did not believe that he would not succeed at all. As long as he succeeded once, the starry sky crack would devour the starry sky demonic leopard. At that time, even if the starry sky demonic leopard had 3 heads and 6 arms, it would not be able to survive. P.S. Copy of Chapter 6. Chapter 1953. The space demonic leopard was also very careful. Although it wasn't afraid of the other party's strength, the shattering starry sky was indeed enough to destroy it. It was better to be safe than sorry. If it was unlucky and was enveloped by the shattering starry sky, it would definitely die. Dodging left and right, it was unknown if the space demonic leopard's luck was too good, but the shattering starry sky didn't devour it no less than 30 times. Even if I can't devour you, I'll still smash you to death. A small black seal suddenly appeared in Longao's hand. It was the dragon seal. Without any hesitation, Longao directly smashed the seal towards the space demonic leopard. In the air, the small black seal instantly turned into a huge black seal. The space demonic leopard's speed was fast enough. Otherwise, the seal would have smashed it into a meat patty. The dragon seal was even faster, smashing the space demonic leopard fiercely. "Kid, I'm going to tear you to pieces." Constantly dodging the dragon seal, the space demonic leopard could be considered extremely depressed. The space demonic leopard, who originally had the upper hand, had the situation reversed in just a few minutes. Longao had the upper hand, and the space demonic leopard was at a disadvantage. The space demonic leopard could clearly feel the power of the black seal. Taking advantage of the victory to pursue, Longao wouldn't give the space demonic leopard any chance to breathe. However, due to the absolute difference in cultivation level, Longao couldn't kill the space demonic leopard. After all, the space demonic leopard was too fast. As soon as Longao stepped into the 3rd floor, Long Fu had already sensed the location of the entrance to the 4th floor. Since he couldn't kill the space demonic leopard, Longao didn't continue to tangle with it. The space demonic leopard was tightly entangled by the dragon seal, so it couldn't deal with Longao at all. In this way, with the help of space teleportation, Longao's speed soared to the extreme. After a few teleportations, Longao had already arrived at the entrance. "Kid." The space demonic leopard was completely enraged because it never expected that it couldn't kill the other party with its strength. Humiliation. It was simply a great humiliation. However, as the dragon seal continued to smash it, it could only watch the other party disappear into the entrance. It wanted to do so, but it was powerless. As Longao left, the dragon seal had already left. "What happened just now? Is this true?" The starry sky demonic leopard stood there in a daze. Even until now, it still had not reacted. The other party had already left the 3rd floor and entered the 4th floor. If he hadn't seen the other party enter the passageway leading to the 4th floor with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. He cursed fiercely. On the 2nd floor of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Hearing the roar from the third floor, Bloodwolf and Flame looked at each other and saw a trace of shock in each other's eyes. I really didn't expect that kid to really leave the third floor. Flame smiled and said, the star demonic leopard has been suppressing us for so many years. Now, let's see how arrogant he can be. When they thought of the star demonic leopard's rage, the two of them had the urge to laugh out loud. It was a little funny. Just as the two of them had guessed, the current star demonic leopard even had thoughts of dying. However, no matter how angry and unwilling he was, the other party had already entered the fourth floor. There was nothing he could do. According to the restrictions of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda, he was unable to enter the other floors. He could only guard the third floor. Stepping into the passageway, Longao finally let out a long sigh of relief. His strength was still not enough. If his cultivation could reach the 9th Starry Sky Cultivator, would he still need to fear the star demonic leopard? However, improving one's strength was not something that could be done overnight. His cultivation speed was already very fast. There was only a difference of 2 levels between the 7th Starry Sky Cultivator and the 9th Starry Sky Cultivator. Maybe one day, his luck would suddenly come and he would have a breakthrough. The 4th floor of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. It was calm, so calm that it felt a little strange. The more calm it was, the more Longao didn't dare to act rashly. He started to observe the surroundings. As for Long Fu, he directly started to comprehend the passageway leading to the 5th floor of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. Long Fu, how is it? Master, I can't sense the location of the passageway. Huh. Hearing this, Longao was shocked. He had always been confident in Long Fu's comprehension. He couldn't believe that even with Long Fu's strength, he couldn't sense the passageway leading to the 5th floor. What the hell happened? Before Longao could ask, Long Fu spoke up, Master, something is wrong here. You have to be careful. I will help you sense it again. Since things had already reached this point, he could only take one step at a time. Long Fu sensed the passageway leading to the 5th floor as fast as he could. As long as he could step into the passageway, no matter how dangerous the 4th floor was, it would all be in vain. According to this situation, Long Fu definitely couldn't sense the entrance in the shortest time possible. It seemed that he had to rely on himself. It was too calm. The surroundings were quiet and empty. There wasn't even the slightest aura fluctuation. Longao tried to walk forward, but the more he walked, the more he felt that something was wrong. If it were someone else, they wouldn't have sensed anything wrong. Only Longao was different. He tried to release his innate spirit technique to sense the spatial fluctuations around him. If it was just sensing, it would have been impossible. However, relying on his spatial perception, he soon found that something was wrong. Since you are here, why are you acting so sneakily? Since you can sense my presence, you are amazing. The surrounding space began to fluctuate violently and slowly gathered into a huge white gas, which then slowly condensed into a middle-aged man in white robes. He was dressed like a scholar and looked very gentle and elegant. Not a human. You can pass through the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors, while your strength is only at grade 7 Starry Sky Cultivator. It really surprised me. But boy, in front of me, a space master, you can't leave. However, I like you very much. As long as you promise me to stay with me for 100 million years, I can consider letting you go. Otherwise, you will die. 100 million years. Longao, of course, knew what 100 million years meant. He immediately became angry and cursed. Who do you think you are? 100 million years, I want to leave now. Let's see how you kill me. If a tiger doesn't show its power, you think I am a sick cat? Not to mention 100 million years, even if it was a year, he couldn't wait. Longao ignored the other party. So what if he was a Starry Sky Domain Lord? So what if he was a Space Master? Longao was very clear about what the other party was talking about. A Space Master, if there was no accident, should be formed by the convergence of the surrounding space. Controlling the power of space, such an expert was many times more terrifying than the space demonic leopard. P.S. The first chapter is here. Chapter 1954. Instead of getting angry, he laughed. It seemed that he felt lonely. It was not easy for someone to come in, so the space person would not kill Longao at all. The meaning of the space person was very simple, that is, he wanted to imprison the other party and make him stay with him. 100 million years, for the space person, was just a blink of an eye. Boy, I admire your character, but it doesn't matter, I will let you try my power first. The space person did not move at all, and the surrounding space began to compress towards Longao, fiercely compressing. Retreating again and again. With the innate ability, Longao could also be said to have a preliminary mastery of space. It was precisely so. Longao was very clear about how powerful the other party's control of space was. Between heaven and earth, among all the forces, time and space were one of the most powerful forces. No attack. Nor did he deal with it. The space person said with a confident smile, "Boy, not to mention that you are just a level 7 starry sky cultivator, even if you are a starry sky domain lord, you can't leave here. 7 orifices, exquisite pagodas, first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, 4 starry sky domain lords, and the most powerful one was this space person. The higher the floor, the stronger the strength." Longao's face was very gloomy, as ugly as it could be. Just now, he could clearly feel the strength of the other party, and the control of space power had exceeded his understanding. This battle, he would lose without a doubt. "You still don't want to give up? Senior, I want to make a bet with you." In this case, he could only use his wits and not strength. He certainly could not stay, the only way was to find a way to deal with the other party. "Tell me about it." The space person seemed to be very interested. For so many years, the space person had been too lonely, and now that someone came in, the space person also wanted to see what the other party wanted to do. "Senior, do you think that you're very strong? Why don't I go all out? If you can withstand a single move of mine, then it'll be my loss. At that time, let alone 100 million years, I can even stay here for the rest of my life." If he won, he would leave. The space person smiled. Full of confidence, the space person did not put Longao in his eyes at all. If he couldn't even resist the full strength of a level 7 starry sky cultivator, then what was the point of him keeping this person? That was indeed the case. Without any hesitation, the space one nodded and said, "No problem. I also want to see what kind of ability you have to pass 3 tests in a row." He could not understand how the other party was able to clear the first, second, and third floors consecutively. He was very clear about the strength of the 3 people on the first 3 floors. They were all starry sky domain lords. A grade 7 starry sky cultivator and a starry sky domain lord were simply not on the same level of existence. He didn't say anything else. He only had one chance. If he missed it, he would have to stay here forever. He stared at the so-called space traveler in front of him. In order to deal with a space master, one had to use the power of space against the power of space, or even the power of time. What killing move should he use? After thinking for a long time, in the end, Longao locked onto his innate mystique, the time sure-kill technique. With the combination of the 2 sure-kill techniques, Longao was confident that he could defeat his opponent. According to the agreement, the other party was not allowed to retaliate. Furthermore, Longao could clearly sense that the other party had not taken him seriously from the beginning to the end. The more this was the case, the more chances he had. "Boy, come on." It seemed that he couldn't wait any longer, because the space traveler wanted to see what kind of ability the other party had to be able to repel him. Innate mystique, dragon roar. As the dragon roar sounded, the surrounding space began to suppress. Shock. Unbelievable. Because the space traveler never thought that the other party would also master the power of space. But so what? If it was other forces, it might be a bit troublesome. Only the power of space could attack him. It was simply impossible. He was known as a space traveler and had truly mastered the power of space. However, before the space traveler could react, Longao's time sure-kill technique had appeared. This time, he did not use the time powder. Shattering the starry sky, 6 space cracks appeared around him. Taken aback. "You!" Longao used the space cracks to devour. Under the double attack of time rewind and time advance, Longao used space teleportation to appear in front of the other party and attacked with all his strength. All the shore-kill techniques were used together. Even the space traveler did not have time to react and was repelled. He took 3 steps back before he could stand firm. He did not continue to follow up. Longao knew very well that even if he could repel the space traveler, it was almost impossible to kill the other party. He was completely stunned. He lost. It was really hard for the space traveler to accept such a muddle-headed defeat, but after thinking about it, he said with a smile, "The power of space and strength, as well as shattering the starry sky, I accept my loss wholeheartedly." The space traveler finally knew why the other party could pass 3 levels in a row. Such a secret technique was too powerful. If he was not careful, he would be killed by the other party. Until now, he still had some lingering fear. "Senior, thank you." Longao did not want to say more nonsense. Now, he just wanted to leave the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. It was only the 4th level, and there were still the 5th, 6th, and 7th levels. No one knew how dangerous it would be, so he could only take 1 step at a time. The space traveler seemed to be able to guess Longao's thoughts. He was also a very good person. He did not feel the slightest bit of greed because of Longao. He said with a smile, "Boy, the 5th level of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda is guarded by a starry sky domain emperor. With your strength, you can't pass it." He was very surprised. Although Longao had guessed that there must be a starry sky domain emperor guarding the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, he never thought that a starry sky domain emperor would appear on the 5th level. According to his calculation, a starry sky domain emperor should only appear on the 7th level of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, but according to the current situation, a starry sky domain emperor had already appeared on the 5th level. It was hard to imagine what kind of existence there would be on the 6th and 7th levels. Could there be a starry sky domain emperor guarding them? Longao's face was very solemn because the strength of a starry sky domain emperor was far superior to the starry sky domain master. He could use all kinds of trump cards to contend with the starry sky domain master, but he did not stand a chance against a starry sky domain emperor. How could he pass through the 5th, 6th, and 7th levels? Was he really going to die here? The Heavenly Tao. Longao clenched his fists unnaturally. The Heavenly Tao had secretly attacked him and suppressed him with the help of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. He would definitely settle this score with the Heavenly Tao in the future. P.S. Copy the 2nd chapter. Chapter 1955. Boy, let's make a deal. What do you think? Senior, please go ahead. Longao could clearly sense that the other party didn't have the slightest intention to kill him. He was really lucky to have passed a total of 4 floors. Apart from the space leopard who wanted to kill him, the blood wolf, the flame wolf and the space traveler were all very nice to him. If the 3 of them were determined to deal with him, would he have been able to pass this step smoothly? "I can help you pass the 5th floor, but in exchange, you have to promise me that you will help me kill the guardian of the 5th floor. Heh. Longao was a little surprised. He never thought that things would come to this point. No problem. Longao was not a fool. Since the space being said so, then if there was no accident, the space being would definitely have a way to help him. As for whether or not he could kill the guardian of the 5th floor, he had no objection at all. However, Longao couldn't figure out how a space traveler could deal with a starry sky domain emperor. A starry sky domain lord and a starry sky domain emperor were 2 completely different existences. He didn't ask. Longao knew very well that under such circumstances, he didn't need to ask more. He believed that the other party would take the initiative to tell him. As expected. "Boy, when we enter the 6th floor, you just need to follow my instructions and lead the other party to this place. Leave the rest to me." Longao nodded. He didn't have the slightest objection. At this moment, the space traveler's original body suddenly exploded, leaving only the primordial spirit. Longao was completely stunned when he saw this, but he immediately understood what was going on. If the space traveler didn't do this, he wouldn't have been able to enter the 5th floor at all. Let's go. Longao left the 4th floor with the primordial spirit of the space traveler and went toward the entrance of the 5th floor. Soon, they arrived at the 5th space. Huh! Another voice of surprise rang out, because even the Guardian did not expect that a grade 7 starry sky cultivator would be able to enter his space. Another space traveler? Longao could clearly sense that the other party was also condensed from space, but his strength was far superior to the previous space traveler. Second brother is really, he shook his head in disdain. It turned out that these two space bearers were blood brothers, but the grudges between them were hard to explain. Either you die or I die. Otherwise, second brother would not have wanted to kill first brother, even going as far as to self-destruct. Trash. Under such circumstances, there was no point in talking nonsense. Longao cursed, turned around and started to run towards the location given to him by the second brother. Spatial teleportation. After a few teleportations, Longao's figure was already tens of thousands of meters away. He was shocked. The Sovereign Realm expert from the Starry Sky domain was a little shocked. Spatial teleportation was the pinnacle of speed. It was no wonder that the other party could pass through the first 4 floors and arrive at the 5th floor that he was guarding. Courting death. A grade 7 starry sky cultivator, in his eyes, was just an ant-like existence. Big Brother immediately chased after him. His speed was very fast because Big Brother's cultivation had reached the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm. Although he could not teleport, his speed had reached an incredible level. Longao deliberately slowed down. What if the space-time user didn't chase after him? Since he was entrusted with the task, he had to do it. Although he also wanted to leave here, he had to help the space-time user deal with his big brother first. In this way, even if he could leave the 5th floor, he could feel at ease. The two people, one in front and one behind, arrived at their destination in about a few minutes. A huge pool. If it were any other time, the space-time user would definitely not be led here by Longao. After all, the pool was his forbidden area. But from the beginning to the end, the space-time user did not put Longao in his eyes. Even if he came to the pool, what could he do? With Longao's strength, could he hurt him? Just when the space-time user was about to speak and was about to kill Longao, the situation suddenly changed. Longao's body suddenly flashed with a black robe. It was the space-time user whose original body was destroyed, leaving only his primordial spirit. For the time being, he was called Second Brother, and his opponent was his big brother, Big Brother. Second Brother, you actually destroyed your original body. Of course, Big Brother knew what the other party wanted to do. Maybe Longao could not kill him, but Second Brother could kill him with the help of the pool. Kid, you can go now. I'll take care of our grudge on my own. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible for the space-time user to leave the 4th floor. He could only come to the 5th floor with Longao's help. Longao knew very well what the space-time user meant. He didn't want him to see their grudge. In that case, there was no need for him to stay any longer. He had planned to help the space-time user deal with his big brother. Longao already knew the location of the entrance to the 6th floor. There was no doubt that Longao could smoothly leave the 5th floor and go to the 6th floor. As for the two space-time users, they looked at each other. The Guardian of the 5th space no longer had any extra power to deal with Longao, let alone stop Longao from leaving the 5th space and going to the 6th floor. Second Brother, you detonated your original body in order to kill me. Did you? Waving his hand, the space traveler who was called the Second Brother looked disgusted. He didn't even want to say a word and directly started to attack. There was only one result in the end, that was, both of them would die, and both of them would suffer great losses. On the 6th floor of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. After successfully passing through 5 levels, Longao was not surprised at all. Instead, he became even more solemn. This was because he knew clearly that the guardians of the 6th and 7th level of the 7 Orifices Exquisite Pagoda were definitely not simple. The weakest one could be a Starry Sky Domain Emperor or even a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. However, whether it was a Starry Sky Domain Emperor or a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, it did not make any difference to him. But what was the result? The sixth floor was empty, there was nothing at all. Even when Long Fu sensed the entrance to the sixth floor, Longao didn't suffer any attacks. What was going on? Longao was quite lucky. It turned out that the Heavenly Path had been killing cosmos cultivators everywhere after obtaining this incredible artifact. However, there were many powerful cosmos cultivators who joined forces to kill the guardian of the sixth floor, but they all died on the seventh floor. However, Longao still didn't leave the seventh floor. It was still unknown whether he could leave the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda successfully. However, Longao certainly wouldn't stop now that things had progressed to this point. There was only one floor left. He would be able to leave the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda as long as he could pass the seventh floor. As for the strength of the guardian of the seventh floor, there was no telling. On the seventh floor of the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda. P.S. Copy of the third chapter. Chapter 1956. He stepped into the seventh floor. There was water everywhere as far as the eye could see. An old man was sitting by the sea, fishing quietly. "You're the first one to come here in more than 10,000 years. Not bad at all." The Starry Sky Territory ancestor. Longao could clearly feel that the old man was a Starry Sky Territory ancestor and his strength was not weaker than Hong Lin and Qi Tian's. It would be a lie if he said he wasn't afraid. However, Longao didn't want to say much. Since it was a fight, why should he waste time? Longao looked at the old man cautiously, ready to take action at any time. He smiled. "Kid, do you think you can defeat me?" "No." Without hesitation, Longao knew that he couldn't defeat the old man. After all, the old man was a Starry Sky Territory ancestor, a top existence in the vast starry sky. "With your strength, I'm surprised that you can pass 5 floors in a row." The old man obviously knew the situation on the 6th floor. Even so, the old man was still surprised. The old man was just a level 7 Starry Sky cultivator. How could he resist the Starry Sky Domain Lord and Starry Sky Domain Emperor? The old man didn't ask. "Kid, let's make a bet. If you win, not only can you leave here, but I can also help you refine the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda. If you lose, you have to stay here forever." No problem. If they fought head-on, he wouldn't stand a chance. In that case, he could only agree. "Senior, I'm curious. Tian Dao has refined the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda. If so, why can you help me refine it?" This was what Longao couldn't figure out. Under normal circumstances, no matter what kind of Starry Sky divine weapon it was, unless the owner died, no one else could refine it. In other words, if he wanted to refine the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda, he had to kill Tian Dao. But was it possible? "Seems like you're confident." The old man smiled and continued, "Don't worry. Tian Dao hasn't refined the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda yet. There's something wrong with his character." F***CK. How could he tell a person's character? Could it be that his character was good? Thinking of this, Longao did not continue to ask because he knew very well that in this situation, the most important thing was not to be entangled with this question, but to win the bet. "Senior, what should I do?" "It's very simple. As long as you can catch 1 fish, you win." So simple. Longao's expression became more and more serious because he knew very well that the old man's bet couldn't be so simple. There was nothing he could do about it. The initiative was clearly not in his hands. He didn't say anything else. Longao took the fishing hook from the old man. He sat quietly beside the old man and began to immerse himself in fishing. In fact, Longao did not know that the old man was only doing this to test him, to find a suitable person to refine the Seven Orifices exquisite pagoda. The Heavenly Dao was obviously not suitable, but before he found the right person, the old man would definitely not choose to leave. Heavenly Law Alliance. The Heavenly Dao, who was resting with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes, which reflected a cold light. Not good. The Heavenly Dao never expected that Longao could reach the 7th level. He did not know the situation of the first 6 levels. After all, he had not truly refined the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. However, when Longao reached the 7th level, The heavenly Tao thought that he would be killed by the exquisite pagoda, but the old man did not make a move. Instead, he began to test Longao. What did this mean? The heavenly Tao knew very well that once Longao passed the test, he would refine the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. At that time, the refinement would be troublesome. Under such circumstances, the heavenly Tao did not care about being known by others. He took a step forward and arrived in front of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. The heavenly Tao. Seeing the heavenly Tao suddenly enter the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, everyone understood that the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda originally belonged to the heavenly Tao. In other words, the person who wanted to suppress and kill Longao was none other than the heavenly Tao. According to normal circumstances, when Tian Dao appeared, godly diviner should also appear. However, Tian Dao's luck was too good. Now, godly diviner had left the Tianwu plane again. Otherwise, if godly diviner knew about this, it was easy to imagine what would happen. 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, 7th level. Exquisite, are you going back on your word? The moment the heavenly Tao appeared, he attacked Longao, but was stopped by the old man. From the beginning to the end, Longao did not make a move. The reason was simple. It was not that he was not afraid of death, but he believed that the old man would definitely help him. If the heavenly Tao wanted to make a move at this time, it would be a mistake. Although the heavenly Tao had not truly refined the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, according to the agreement between the two, the heavenly Tao could use the power of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Otherwise, the heavenly Tao would not have used the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda to suppress Longao. However, the heavenly Tao had never thought that he would go for wool and come home shorn. Not only did he not use the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda to kill Longao, but he also gave Longao a chance. If Longao succeeded in passing the test, what should he do? The heavenly Tao was very clear about the power of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Not to mention the previous 6 tests, just the exquisite pagoda in front of him was a genuine starry sky domain lord. Once Longao used the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, wouldn't he be able to kill the heavenly Tao easily? The heavenly Tao could not let Longao pass the test. The heavenly Tao was also very depressed about one thing. What Longao was doing now was fishing. The heavenly Tao had done it before. In order to truly refine the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, he had done it for more than 100 years. In the end, he still could not pass the test. The only explanation was that his character was not good enough. Because of this, the heavenly Tao had been speechless for 10,000 years. What was wrong with his character? Exquisite smiled and said, "Back then, our agreement was that you could use the power of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda as you wish. However, I once said that I could find a successor at any time. I believe you remember this correctly?" He cursed in his heart. That was indeed the case. The heavenly Tao was speechless, but there was nothing he could do. The true owner of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda was actually exquisite, not him. In other words, whoever wanted to refine the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda was up to the old man. Temph, the heavenly Tao snorted coldly. In his opinion, even if Longao had the chance to take the test, he would not be able to pass. The heavenly Tao had not caught a single fish in 100 years. Would Longao be able to catch one? Definitely not. The heavenly Tao was not too worried when he thought of this. As long as Longao did not pass the test, he would have a way to kill Longao. Author's note: the 4th chapter is here. Chapter 1957. Leave. Since he was already here, he had to deal with Longao first before leaving. Letting the tiger return to the mountain would only cause trouble in the future. Tian Dao didn't want to delay any longer because he knew clearly that if he didn't kill Longao now, it would be hard to find another chance in the future. No matter what, Longao was chosen by the marvelous mathematician. Time trickled by. Less than 10 minutes had passed. A golden goldfish had already been fished up by Longao. Impossible. It's impossible. His face was filled with disbelief, because the heavenly Tao had never thought that Longao would really catch a fish, and in such a short period of time. Even though he had seen it with his own eyes, Tian Dao didn't want to believe it. Congratulations. Ling Long waved her hand at Tian Dao, and before Tian Dao could react, she had already disappeared. What's your name? Longao. Longao was also pleasantly surprised in his heart because he had never thought that he would successfully catch a fish in a short span of 10 minutes. The power of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda was obviously beyond his knowledge. Not to mention the 4th, 5th, and 6th floors, no one could defeat Ling Long on the 7th floor. She was a starry sky territory ancestor and a peak territory ancestor. Even if Hong Linhe and Qi Tian were trapped, they wouldn't be able to leave this place alive. Longao, you've passed the test. I believe you've guessed that you can refine the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. You're the owner of this place. He was overjoyed. Longao had guessed it, but he didn't dare to imagine that his luck would be so good. He thought he wouldn't be able to leave the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, but it turned out like this. Thank you, senior. In the following time, Longao didn't hesitate. With Ling Long's help, he started to refine the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. If Longao wanted to refine the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda alone, he would need at least a few years. If he was unlucky, it could take decades or even centuries. But now, the situation was completely different. With Ling Long's help, Longao successfully refined the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda and became the master of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Longao's situation was completely different from the heavenly Tao. Outside the 7 apertures exquisite pagoda, no one was willing to leave, especially now that everyone knew that the owner of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda was none other than Tian Dao. Hey! Looking at the sudden appearance of the heavenly Tao, everyone closed in step by step. Tian Dao, hand over Longao. Although they were afraid of the god diviner, many people were willing to take the risk because of the huge temptation. Shattered starry sky. Secret techniques to increase one's strength and so on. If he could obtain these things, even the risk would be worth it. The heavenly Tao's expression was very gloomy, as ugly as it could get. Hand over Longao? How could he hand over Longao? He also wanted to find Longao, but how could it be possible? With a helpless expression, the heavenly Tao said helplessly, Longao has successfully passed the test and is refining the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. If there are no accidents, Longao will come out in 2 hours. At that time, whoever wants to catch Longao will have to rely on their own abilities. Would anyone believe it? Without a doubt, no one would believe it. The heavenly Tao was obviously the owner of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Did he really think that the people here were fools? However, no one made a move, nor did anyone press on. It was only 2 hours. To everyone, 2 hours was just a blink of an eye. Many people wanted to see if Longao would appear in 2 hours. If he did not appear, it would not be too late to settle the score with the heavenly Tao. Everyone surrounded the heavenly Tao. Even if the heavenly Tao was powerful, it would not be easy for him to leave smoothly. Time passed quickly. Unknowingly, 2 hours had passed. Where was he? They did not see Longao come out of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. Everyone's face turned ugly. Qi Tian territory ancestor snorted and said, Heavenly Tao, do you really think that we are fools? Where is Longao? Didn't you say that Longao would appear in 2 hours? The 3 consecutive questions left the heavenly Tao speechless. The more it was like this, the more gloomy heavenly Tao's face became because he was sure that Longao must have refined the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. As for why he did not appear, the reason was simple. Longao must be creating trouble for him. Although he cursed in his heart, he did not get angry. 1 against 10,000, there were 2 cosmic domain lords and 6 cosmic domain emperors. Once he started fighting, he would definitely die. The heavenly Tao also knew that the divine mathematician was definitely not in the sky martial realm. Otherwise, the divine mathematician would have appeared since the news of him possessing the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda had been leaked. However, the divine mathematician did not appear. I have just said that Longao has passed the test and is refining the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. However, enough. Hong Lin was completely enraged. He snorted and said, "Heavenly Tao, don't think that you can ignore everything just because you have the divine mathematician's support. I will give you one last chance. If you don't hand over Longao, we will kill you." Apparently, the two territory ancestors of the starry sky were enraged. Everybody around sneered. The heavenly path was really despicable. Things had come to this, but it still dared to do that. It didn't want to live anymore. The heavenly Tao was extremely depressed. In the past 2 hours, he kept trying to enter the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda to stop Longao from refining it. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not enter the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Under such circumstances, how could he hand over Longao? "The two of you, please listen to me." Before the heavenly Tao could speak, the heavenly Tao suddenly made a move. A terrifying aura fiercely suppressed the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao did not dare to meet force with force. In the next second, the heavenly Tao had already fled far away and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Kill. Anyway, Longao was suppressed in the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. For the time being, he could not get out. Moreover, the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda would refine him. Under such circumstances, they had to kill the heavenly Tao first or catch him to open the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Only then could they get Longao out of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. No one wanted Longao to die. If Longao died, all the secret techniques and supernatural powers would disappear. Everyone chased after the heavenly Tao. No one under the starry sky domain emperor dared to move. With their competence, if they dared to chase after the heavenly Tao, they would die without a doubt. In the face of death, no one was not afraid of death. The 2 cosmic domain ancestors, 6 cosmic domain emperors, and all the cosmic domain emperors and cosmic domain masters chased after the heavenly Tao. P.S. Copy the 5th chapter. Chapter 1958. Just as Tian Dao had guessed, Longao had successfully refined the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda within an hour. However, Longao did not appear. The reason was simple: he wanted to kill with a borrowed knife. 2 starry sky territory ancestors and 6 starry sky territory emperors. Even if Tian Dao had 3 heads and 6 arms, it would be difficult to resist such a siege. Not long after Tian Dao's people left, the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda suddenly shrank and disappeared. Then, Longao's figure suddenly appeared in the 9th heaven, giving everyone a fright. "Longao! Look, it's Longao! Kill, we killed Longao!" Everyone was excited when they thought of Longao's treasures. They couldn't wait to kill Longao and take away these secret techniques and divine abilities. Without these so-called divine abilities and secret techniques, would these people care about Longao? It was simply a joke. There were about 70,000 starry sky cultivators around. Almost 95% of the foreign cultivators were all here. Everyone's thoughts were similar. Although they didn't have the strength to kill Longao or snatch things in front of the starry sky territory ancestors and starry sky territory emperors, sometimes luck was more important than strength. What if they were lucky? With the attitude of trying their luck, everyone was ready to attack Longao. But the result? Before anyone could make a move, Longao had already taken the initiative. Countless starry sky soul slaves appeared. Not only that, Longao seemed to be a little angry and started to kill. With his current strength as a level 8 starry sky cultivator, he could compete with any starry sky cultivator below level 9. Yes, Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through to level 8 starry sky cultivator. Even Longao himself didn't expect that after refining the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda, his cultivation would break through to level 8 from level 7 starry sky cultivator. In just 2 hours. Even Longao couldn't believe such a cultivation speed. In less than 2 months, his cultivation had risen from a grade 3 starry sky cultivator to a grade 8 starry sky cultivator. Is this true? This kind of cultivation speed was simply unprecedented and would never be surpassed by anyone in the future. Massacre. Of all the starry sky cultivators present, The strongest was only a grade 9 starry sky cultivator. As for the powerhouses above the starry sky domain lord level, they had all chased after Tian Dao. It was a one-sided massacre. Whether it was the starry sky soul slaves or Longao, they were not existences that these people could contend against. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gradually, the remaining people began to realize that something was wrong. Longao's strength was too strong. If this continued, perhaps even more people would fall here. In the face of life and death, no one was unafraid of death. Run. No one was willing to stay and wait for death. Even so, in just a few dozen minutes, more than 10,000 starry sky cultivators had fallen. Longao had forcibly devoured their essence spirits, preparing to refine them into starry sky soul slaves. What kind of concept was that? Longao was truly enraged this time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to kill tens of thousands of people at once. The dense crowd had disappeared without a trace in just a few dozen minutes. All that was left were countless corpses scattered on the ground. At a glance, there were corpses everywhere. Longao did not linger. Even though his cultivation state had successfully broken through to a grade 8 starry sky, compared to Tian Dao and the others, it was still not enough. As for the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, Longao was also extremely depressed. According to Longao, now that the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda had lost 2 guardians, it was best not to strike at this time. Otherwise, not only would they not be able to kill the enemy, they might even end up losing the rice used to lure them. By then, it would truly be a tragedy. Longao left for about 2 hours. Those who failed to kill Tian Dao returned to their original spot. Looking at the corpses all over the ground, Hong Lin, Qi Tian, and the others had no idea what had happened. They didn't know why, but in just 2 hours, more than 10,000 people had died. Who had done it? Even the Starry Sky Domain Lord couldn't do it. Even the Starry Sky Domain Emperor would find it difficult. Could it be the Starry Sky Domain Emperor? Currently, there were 8 Starry Sky Domain Emperors in the Sky Martial continent. Besides Feng Buxiu and the other 6 Starry Sky Domain Emperors, the rest were the Domain Emperors of the Heavenly Dao Domain and the Domain Emperors of the Sky Tyrant Domain. It was impossible for Tian Dao to do it. As for the other 6 Starry Sky Domain Emperors, it was even more impossible. They had been together all the time. Unless the 6 of them had a doppelganger technique, there was no need for them to kill people. In that case, there was only one possibility: it was the Domain Emperors of the Sky Tyrant Domain. The 2 of them didn't suspect the Divine Mathematician at all. The reason was simple. With the Divine Mathematician's strength, not to mention killing these people, he could even slaughter everyone without a problem. At first, they thought it was the Domain Emperors of the Sky Tyrant Domain. However, when the 2 Starry Sky Territory ancestors got the answer, they were dumbfounded. No one believed that Longao had done it. Could it be that Longao's cultivation had broken through the Domain Emperors of the Sky Tyrant Domain? Impossible, as everyone knew, Longao was just a grade 3 Starry Sky cultivator. Not to mention slaughtering tens of thousands of Starry Sky cultivators, even if he encountered a grade 7 Starry Sky cultivator, grade 8 Starry Sky cultivator, or grade 9 Starry Sky cultivator, it was still unknown whether Longao could resist them. No one had believed Tian Dao's words before, but now, everyone believed it. In their opinion, with Longao's strength, even if he had many trump cards, it was impossible for him to kill more than 10,000 cultivators. It seemed like it was because of the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda. And now, Longao's whereabouts were unknown. Everybody was enraged. Apparently, Longao was playing with them. It was a tragic thing. Moreover, the 2 Starry Sky Territory Lords were sure that Longao wasn't strong enough to resist them. Otherwise, Longao wouldn't have run away. He would have stayed and waited for them. If that was the case, everything would be easy. The 2 Starry Sky Territory ancestors were afraid of Longao. No matter what, with his strength and innate talent, if he was given a few more years, once Longao's strength increased, they would be in big trouble. They had to find Longao's traces as soon as possible, but in this vast sea of people, it was very difficult to find a trace of a person without releasing their aura to lock on. The two of them cursed the divine mathematician in their hearts. Although they had the strength of a starry sky domain lord, they couldn't do anything at this time. It was a very depressing thing. They didn't wait for death. The two starry sky territory ancestors sent out the kill order, trying their best to find Longao's trace. If it were in the past, people would have dared to come and find him. However, especially with the corpses of more than 10,000 cultivators in front of them, who dared to provoke Longao? P.S. The first chapter has been delivered. Chapter 1959. To look for Longao. Could it be that he was tired of living? Today, Longao was like the god of slaughter. No one dared to approach him. That was why the two territory ancestors' order to hunt him down had become a decoration. No one cared about it. Although the two territory ancestors' conditions were tempting, no one was willing to take risks in the face of death. Longao's competence was too monstrous. He had killed more than 10,000 starry sky cultivators alone, including a level 9 one. It was unbelievable. After killing more than 10,000 starry sky soul slaves, Longao immediately began to refine the starry sky soul slave army. With Long Fu's help, there would be no problem. The starry sky soul slave army was Longao's biggest trump card. However, even if Long Fu wanted to refine it, it would take him at least 1 month. If it were the Long Fu from several years ago, not to mention 1 month, even if it took him 10 years, he wouldn't be able to do it. After refining the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, Longao was confident. Inside the cave, Longao cultivated with all his might. Although his cultivation had already broken through to grade 8 starry sky cultivator, he still needed to stabilize his realm. Right at this moment, the void in the 9 heavens was torn open. The marvelous mathematician walked in from the vast starry sky. Longmye, show yourself. The dragon seal in Longao's body shot out a black light. Longao didn't notice it at all. Longmye's figure appeared. Marvelous mathematician, long time no see. How have you been? Longmye wasn't surprised. After all, he was in the sky martial plane. It was impossible for the marvelous mathematician to not notice him. However, they had been living in harmony for so many years. No one wanted to expose it. Longmye, we made a deal. Do you want to break it? The marvelous mathematician's face was dark. It turned out that the marvelous mathematician had known that Longao had the dragon seal. That was why he had started to pay attention to Longao. Otherwise, would the marvelous mathematician care about Longao? Genius. A peerless genius. In Master God Diviner's eyes, even the most amazing of geniuses was nothing but bullshit. After all, there were plenty of people in the universe who were more talented than Longao. It was because of the dragon seal, because of the dragon annihilation. Master God Diviner, I'm sure you're aware of my situation. Don't tell me I don't want to come to your territory. The two of them took a step forward and arrived at the Outer Sea Crystal Palace. It's been so many years, Master God Diviner. Have you found it? He shook his head. Master God Diviner sighed. So many years have passed, and I've searched countless planes of existence. But I still haven't been able to find him. What about you? Same here. Both of them felt helpless. If someone else gets there before us, then the two of us will be in big trouble. Master God Diviner, there's something I don't understand. Why do you open the plane every 10,000 years to let in cultivators from the starry sky? Draconic Annihilation could not figure this out. Could it be that the Oracle was really looking for a successor? This was simply nonsense. After so many years, I'm tired. I don't want to go out anymore. I have no choice but to open the Sky Martial plane and hope to find him. At this point, Master God Diviner seemed to think of something and suddenly asked, Draconic Annihilation, I'd like to ask you, why did you choose Longao? Master God Diviner was well aware of Draconic Annihilation's situation. I've been reincarnated 100 times, but I've never been able to transcend the cycle of reincarnation. Only in this life did Longao give me hope. If I can use him to transcend the cycle of reincarnation, then I'll be a successor. He didn't continue, but Master God Diviner knew what he meant. Master God Diviner, don't try to get Longao's attention, and you can't kill him. In that case, I choose to give up. Although Master God Diviner was unwilling and angry, his opponent's strength was obvious. If he fought force with force, he might not necessarily win. In Master God Diviner's opinion, it was not worth it to sacrifice Longao. Thank you. Draconic Annihilation, Xiling has left the Sky Marshal plane. Seems like he hasn't found him yet. If you had joined hands with me, I'm sure we could have swallowed Xiling. Perhaps our strengths could have advanced further. Draconic Annihilation didn't answer. He turned around and left. Shortly after, he disappeared without a trace. Harumph, sooner or later, I'll kill all of you. Master God Diviner was enraged. No matter if it was Xiling or Draconic Annihilation, they didn't care about him and directly intruded into his territory. If he had the confidence to kill them, he wouldn't have endured it. Draconic Annihilation returned to the Dragon Mark. Longao didn't know that, so he was still consolidating his realm. A Grade 8 Starry Sky Cultivator was only one step away from becoming a Grade 9 Starry Sky Cultivator. Because of Draconic Annihilation, Master God Diviner didn't care about anything else. In other words, even if the two territory ancestors wanted to kill Longao, Master God Diviner wouldn't stop them. However, Longao didn't want anyone to help him. It was better to rely on oneself than on others. After 3 days and 3 nights, Longao finally stabilized his level 8 Starry Sky Cultivator. He stood up, stretched his body, and walked out of the cave. Feng Changsho, I'll make you pay the price. Longao didn't want to give up his hatred. The 3 of them had killed Murong Guenar. 2 of them had been killed, leaving only Murong Guenar. He had decided that no matter what happened, no matter what danger he would encounter, he would kill Feng Changsho to avenge Uncle Murong. However, Longao did not act recklessly. He knew very well that even if his cultivation had broken through the Grade 8 Starry Sky Cultivator, he was not an opponent of a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. After all, they were not on the same level. What should he do? It was hard for others to find Longao, but it was easy for Longao to find them. WN Shou Sect. As soon as Longao stepped into the WN Shou Sect, he located Shapotian. You've come. WN Shou Ancestor and Shachong had left the WN Shou Sect and were now in the Heavenly Dao Union. Although Shapotian's cultivation had reached level 2 Starry Sky Cultivator, it was not enough to face the current Longao. How could Shapotian not know this? Shapotian seemed to have given up all hope. He thought that his strength had skyrocketed and he could compete with Longao, but he never thought that Longao's height was so high that he couldn't even see it, let alone touch it. Now, Shapotian regretted his actions to the extreme. If he had known this, he would have killed Longao. If that was the case, he wouldn't be in such trouble now. However, it was too late to regret now. Because of this, Shapotian didn't leave the WN Shou Sect for the Heavenly Dao Union, but stayed in the WN Shou Sect to wait for Longao. He firmly believed that one day, Longao would definitely come to find him. Sure enough, it happened. P.S. Chapter 2. Chapter 1960. Since you know that I will come, why are you still here? Longao was also surprised. Because he could clearly sense that Shapotian was obviously waiting for him here. Was Shapotian not afraid of death? He didn't believe that Shapotian was not afraid of death. Since that was the case, why? So what if I go to the Heavenly Law Alliance? Will you let me go? Longao was surprised. He didn't expect Shapotian to answer like this. Longao, the grudge between us is settled today. I don't need you to do anything, but before I die, I have a request. I hope you can promise me. I can't promise you. There was no need for the other party to say anything. Longao already guessed what Shapotian was going to say. Shachong must die. Not only Shachong, but also the WAN Shou ancestor. Longao, my life in exchange for my father's life, are you still not willing? Shapotian was a little angry, But he didn't dare to do anything because he knew that even if he did, he would die. Shapotian wanted to use his own life in exchange for the safety of his father and the Wan Shou sect. Since Shapotian was like this, Longao didn't hate Shapotian that much. Shapotian, do you think you are qualified to bargain with me? No. He was telling the truth. Shapotian let out a deep sigh, thinking about how strong Longao was. He felt powerless. If Longao really attacked, not only him, but even the ancestor and the Wan Shou sect would all die. Was this the end? He didn't want to. If the Wan Shou sect could be saved, then they could rise again. If the Wan Shou sect was destroyed, then it would be the end of the world. Shapotian, I can give you a chance. Shapotian was overjoyed. He asked impatiently, as long as you let my father and the Wan Shou sect go, I can promise you anything. Longao wasn't soft-hearted, but Shapotian was willing to sacrifice himself to save his father and the Wan Shou sect. This alone was worth giving him a chance. The Wan Shou sect and Shapotian, including Shichong and the Wan Shou ancestor, were no longer a threat to him. The distance was too great. My request is very simple. As long as your father and the myriad beasts' ancestor are willing to submit to me, not only will I let you go, I can even promise you that you'll be able to go further in the future. He wasn't surprised at all because Shapotian had already guessed it. In the past, Shapotian definitely wouldn't have been willing to submit. But now, with Longao's strength, following Longao might not be a bad thing. You're not willing? No. Shapotian looked troubled and said helplessly, I'm fine with it, and so is my father. Only the great ancestor, I'm worried that he won't agree. Shichong and the myriad beasts' ancestor were no longer the same as before. With the help of the heavenly Tao, the myriad beasts' ancestor had reached the Starry Sky Domain Lord Realm, while Shichong had become a grade 9 Starry Sky cultivator. I'll give you one day. At this time tomorrow, I need an answer. Thank you. Shapotian turned around and left. Before long, he already disappeared from sight. Big brother, do you really believe in Shapotian? Long Chong appeared beside Longao. With the departure of Xiling, Bai Ling, and Long Ming, only Long Chong was left by Long Chong's side. I believe in him. Longao had full confidence that Shapotian wouldn't play any tricks with him. This was a kind of intuition, but Longao trusted it very much. Big brother, what if Shichong and the myriad beasts' ancestor don't want to submit? Long Chong's meaning was very clear. After all, the possibility of the two choosing to submit was too small, especially the myriad beasts' ancestor. He was almost certain that the myriad beasts' ancestor would never choose to submit. Kill. Longao continued, as for Shapotian and Shichong, if they're willing to submit, I'll welcome them. A level 2 Starry Sky Cultivator and a level 9 Starry Sky Cultivator would be of great use to the Dragon Valley. In this world, there were no eternal enemies, and no eternal friends. Friends could become enemies, and enemies could become friends. Big brother, you have to be careful. I know. By the way, how's your situation? Long Chong's situation seemed a bit strange. He wasn't an ordinary giant dragon at all. If there was no accident, Long Chong should belong to the Starry Sky Divine Dragon. As for what race he belonged to, it was unknown. Big brother, after I enter the vast starry sky, I will find out my origin. Longao didn't leave the myriad beast sect, because even if Shapotian chose to be shameless and brought the heavenly Tao, he could still deal with it. That was why Longao was fearless. Time passed in the blink of an eye. The next day, just as dusk fell, two figures came quickly. It was Shapotian and Shichong. Have you decided? It seemed that the myriad beasts sect ancestor wasn't willing to submit at all. Fortunately, Shichong and Shapotian chose to submit. In this case, even Longao was relieved. Master, I have discussed with my father. We are willing to submit to you. Both Shapotian and Shichong knew very well that if they continued to stay in the Heavenly Tao Union, when the Starry Sky Secret Realm opened, all the Starry Sky cultivators would enter the Starry Sky Secret Realm. Shichong even had a feeling that after a year, when all the Starry Sky cultivators entered the Starry Sky Secret Realm, The heavenly Tao would definitely burn the bridge after crossing the river. What would the two of them do then? Although Longao was their enemy, the two of them believed in Longao's character. Between the heavenly Tao and Longao, the two of them were willing to choose Longao over the heavenly Tao. Otherwise, Shechong wouldn't have chosen to submit to Longao. Master, since Potian and I have chosen to submit to the dragon sect, we will follow you even if we die. As for the myriad beasts sect ancestor, his life and death have nothing to do with us in the future. As expected of an old fox, Shechong immediately expressed his loyalty. Longao smiled and said, Shechong, I am different from the heavenly Tao. I am also different from others. Since you and Shapotian have chosen to join the dragon sect, I will treat you as my own people in the future. Now, I will take you to find the Starry Sky Domain Lord Godhead so that you can break through to the Starry Sky Domain Lord Godhead in the shortest time possible. Ah! The two of them were shocked. After all, the Starry Sky Domain Lord Godhead wasn't a cabbage that could be found on the street. Even the heavenly Tao didn't have that many. Otherwise, everyone could be made into a Starry Sky Domain Lord. However, the two of them didn't have the slightest doubt because with Longao's character and previous actions, it seemed that if he said something, he would definitely do it. P.S. Chapter 3 sent here. Chapter 1961. The WAN show sect only existed in name. However, Longao didn't touch the WN show sect because he didn't want to alert the enemy. Even if the dragon sect was willing to swallow the WAN show sect, they couldn't do it. The massacre abyss was sealed and they couldn't come out. Longao took the two of them to find the foreign domain lords. Among the Starry Sky experts who entered the Sky Martial Plane, there were 2 Starry Sky Territory ancestors, 6 Starry Sky Territory emperors, and more than 100 Starry Sky Territory lords and Starry Sky Territory emperors. Killing a Starry Sky Territory lord wasn't difficult. The 8th level Starry Sky realm increased Longao's confidence to a whole new level. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Longao didn't know if they were lucky or not, but they ran into Feng Buxiu. Shapotian and Shechong were afraid of him. No matter what, Feng Buxiu was still a Starry Sky Territory emperor, one of the 6 great Starry Sky Territory emperors. Were they really that unlucky? They had just decided to follow Longao, and now they ran into a Starry Sky Territory emperor. It was so frustrating. Longao, you didn't die. I admire you. I will avenge Uncle Murong. They already knew about Murong Guenar's death, but they didn't expect that Longao would really fight the powerful Starry Sky Territory emperor for Murong Guenar. Longao was Feng Buxiu's opponent. They didn't want to believe it. After all, it was too unbelievable. Just you. Feng Buxiu's face was full of disdain. Even if Longao's cultivation had improved greatly and he was now a Starry Sky Territory cultivator, he was still an ant in front of him. A Starry Sky Territory emperor wasn't someone a Starry Sky Territory cultivator could compete with. As for Longao's cultivation speed, compared to Shechong, Shechong was obviously faster. However, one should not forget that Longao had relied on his own cultivation to break through to become a Grade 8 Starry Sky cultivator. However, Shechong and the others relied on devouring Starry Sky godheads and the help of the heavenly Tao to improve. There were benefits, but at the same time, there were huge hidden dangers. Longao took out a small pagoda. It was the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. He took 3 steps back. With a face full of fear, Feng Buxiu finally knew why Longao was so fearless. It turned out that what the heavenly Tao said was true. Longao had really refined the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. As a legendary artifact in the vast universe, Feng Wuchang was very afraid of the 7 Orifices exquisite pagoda. Am I qualified now? You can try to see if you're qualified, Longao. Without waiting for Feng Buxiu to finish his words, Longao directly struck out a palm towards him. A spatial crack appeared in the space on the left, as if it wanted to devour everything. It was the spatial crack. What he feared would come true. Now that Longao's cultivation had improved, The power of the shattering the starry sky had improved tremendously. Even Feng Buxiu did not dare to be careless, as he would surely die if he was devoured by the rift. We'll meet again in the future. Longao, just you wait. Longao did not chase after him, but watched him leave. He knew that he was no match for him. As for the 7 orifices exquisite pagoda, he could not use it yet. Without full confidence, he chose to give up first. There was still plenty of time in the future. Looking at the disappearing figure, both Shapotian and Shichong heaved a sigh of relief. Feng Buxiu really chose to leave. Until now, the two of them still could not believe that Longao was so powerful that he could scare off a starry sky domain emperor. If they did not see it with their own eyes, they would not believe it. Between the two of them, especially Shapotian, he found that the gap between him and Longao was getting bigger and bigger. It had reached an untouchable level. You two don't have to be surprised. You're just a starry sky domain emperor. In the future, both of you will become starry sky domain emperors. Was it possible? The two of them smiled helplessly. Being able to reach this level was already a blessing in disguise, let alone going one step further and becoming the so-called starry sky domain emperor. It was something unimaginable. Longao did not say much. After all, this kind of thing depended on the result. No matter what he said now, the two of them would not believe him. Shapotian, you're just a grade 2 starry sky cultivator now? Shapotian nodded. There was no other way. He could not devour a higher grade starry sky godhead, nor did he have the help of the heavenly Tao. It was already good enough that he could devour a grade 2 starry sky godhead and break through to grade 2. Here are 6 starry sky godheads. Devour them one by one. If there are no accidents, you will soon become a grade 8 starry sky cultivator. The 6 starry sky godheads were grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, and grade 8 starry sky godheads. Reaching out to take the 6 starry sky godheads, Shapotian said gratefully, "Many thanks." Shapotian did not hesitate and immediately started devouring the starry sky god deities. He devoured 6 starry sky god deities in a row. However, under normal circumstances, it would not be easy for Shapotian to break through to grade 8 starry sky cultivator. Fortunately, with the help of Longao and Shichong, this time would be greatly shortened. When Myriad Beast's ancestor learned that the two of them had betrayed the sect and pledged allegiance to Longao, he immediately flew into a rage. If not for the heavenly Tao stopping him, Myriad Beast's ancestor might have already attacked. Lord Heavenly Tao, Longao is very shameless. He tricked the two of them into pledging allegiance. I can't take this lying down. You can't take it lying down? I can't take it lying down. Previously, he had been ruthlessly played by Longao. Until now, Tian Dao had not recovered from his shock. Just when the heavenly Dao was about to say something, his expression changed and his figure disappeared instantly. Although a little surprised, Myriad Beast's ancestor was already used to it. Outer Sea, inside the Crystal Palace. Not only the heavenly Dao, but also Long Batian, who had also been summoned, arrived at the same time. Lord, do you have any orders for us? Long Batian's attitude was very respectful because he knew very well that everything he had now was given to him by the marvelous mathematician. As long as the marvelous mathematician wanted to, he could take everything away at any time. You can now enter the 4th space of the Starry Sky Secret Realm. Remember, how far you can go depends on you. No one can help you. As for the time, you are in control. The huge surprise almost made the two of them faint. They had thought that they would have to wait for another year to enter the Starry Sky Secret Realm, but it never occurred to them that they would be able to enter the Starry Sky Secret Realm without waiting for another year. Was this real? Go! With a wave of his hand, the two of them disappeared and entered the Starry Sky Secret Realm in an instant. P.S. The 4th chapter is here. Chapter 1962. The two of them had no idea why Master Godly Mathematician would suddenly change his mind. According to Master Godly Mathematician's previous decision, the Star Secret Realm would only open after a year. Was there something fishy? Although the two of them had their suspicions, being able to enter the star-secret realm was great news. Danger. Danger and opportunity coexisted. Without danger, there would be no opportunity. The two of them knew what the fourth space of the star-secret realm meant. The two of them had already broken through to the starry sky domain Emperor realm. If they could advance further, they would officially become starry sky domain ancestors. There's not much time left. A heavy sigh suddenly came from inside the Crystal Palace. It was hard to imagine what could make Master Godly Mathematician like this. The moment Tian Dao entered the star-secret realm, his voice spread across the entire Tianwu continent. The Heavenly Dao Alliance was disbanded. Everyone was shocked because something must have happened for the Heavenly Dao to suddenly dissolve the Heavenly Dao Alliance. Otherwise, why would the Heavenly Dao do such a thing? The most depressed ones were Xing Kuan, Thousand Beasts' ancestor, and Long Tian. The Heavenly Law Alliance's acceptance meant that they would become meat on the chopping block, and they would be at the mercy of others. The Starry Sky Domain Lord was not an invincible existence in the current Tianwu continent. Fortunately, the enemy's target was not them. Otherwise, they could imagine what would happen to them. Even so, Long Tian and the others were constantly on tenterhooks, afraid that someone would deal with them. As the saying goes, those who are barefooted are not afraid of those who are wearing shoes. In a valley with a good environment. Hearing Tian Dao's voice, Hong Lin and Qi Tian's expressions changed. Others might not know what this meant, but how could they not know? If I'm not mistaken, Tian Dao and Long Batian have already entered the star-secret realm. Qi Tian territory ancestor nodded in agreement. His face grew colder. As a starry sky territory ancestor, he was being manipulated by others. It was a great humiliation. What a good Master Godly Mathematician. Calm down. We're in a passive position now. We can only wait. The two of them could not figure out why Master Godly Mathematician would suddenly open the star-secret realm and let them enter. There must be something fishy. Even if there was something fishy, there was nothing they could do. Since there are still 10 months, we'll go all out to hunt Longao. If we can get the secret divine ability and enter the star-secret realm, we'll have a better chance. Since things had already come to this point, this was the only way. Everybody, listen up. In 3 days, the territory ancestor peak will descend to this world. No matter who you are, if you want to enter the star-secret territory in 10 months, you must find the key from the territory ancestor peak. Hearing Master Godly Mathematician's words, everyone was completely stunned. Wasn't everyone allowed to enter the star-secret realm? Why did they have to snatch the key? Master Marvelous Mathematician's words came one more time. He meant that the territory ancestor peak had descended and only 1,000 keys were available. The one with the keys could enter the star-secret domain in 10 months. Otherwise, he wouldn't be qualified to enter the star-secret domain. Anger. Everyone was furious to the extreme. But so what if he was angry? As the ruler of the starry sky secret realm, the marvelous mathematician could do whatever he wanted. However, 1,000 keys were not enough. After all, there were still more than 80,000 starry sky cultivators left. What kind of concept was that? 2 words, snatch. Once such a situation occurred, there would only be one result, and that was to wage war against each other. At that time, rivers of blood would flow. Not only that. Once the territory ancestor peak descended, all the cultivators in the universe would be able to snatch the key to enter the star-secret realm. They would also be able to snatch 10 universal domain ancestor godheads. Greed. Everybody was boiling because they were looking forward to the arrival of the territory ancestor peak. Not to mention the 1,000 keys, the 10 universal domain ancestor godheads were too tempting. It wasn't something that anyone could resist. Master, are we going to fight for it too? Of course, why not? Of course, Shichong and Shapotian wanted to go too. If they were lucky enough to get the universal domain ancestor godhead, they would definitely get the universal domain ancestor godhead. At that time, no one in this vast world could be their match. How could Longao not know what the two people were thinking? You two should be careful. No one knows what will happen when the Territory Ancestor Peak descends this time. Don't think about snatching the Universal Domain Ancestor Godheads. If it's yours, it's yours. If it's not yours, it's not yours. We understand. Of course, they knew how dangerous it was. When the Territory Ancestor Peak arrived, so many Starry Sky cultivators would come, including 2 Territory Ancestors and 6 Territory Emperors of Starry Sky. If they acted rashly against such super experts, they would be in big trouble. Not only Longao's team, but everyone else was heading to their destination. Although the Territory Ancestor Peak would descend in 3 days, they couldn't wait any longer. Even if they couldn't enter the Star Secret Realm, it didn't matter. As long as they could get the Universal Domain Ancestor Godhead, it was better than anything else. With this thought in mind, all the cultivators in the universe, whether they were from other places or from the Sky Marshal Plane, hurried to the Territory Ancestor Peak to wait for its arrival. The news of the Territory Ancestor Peak's arrival swept across the entire Sky Marshal continent. Dusk arrived. An open space was sealed. No matter who it was, even the 2 Territory Ancestors couldn't get close to it. Everyone knew that the divine mathematician had sealed this place. They had to wait for the Territory Ancestor Peak to descend in 3 days. No one knew that Master Divine Diviner would do such a thing at this moment. However, no matter what Master Divine Diviner's intention was, there were 10 Universal Domain Ancestor Godheads in front of them. No matter who obtained them, they could devour the Universal Domain Ancestor Godheads and break through to the Universal Domain Ancestor realm. Not to mention the others, even the 2 Territory Ancestors couldn't resist such temptation. Besides the key to enter the Star Secret Realm, if they could get the Universal Domain Ancestor Godhead, they could create another Territory Ancestor Godhead. Thinking about that, the 2 Territory Ancestors decided to try their best to get the 10 Universal Domain Ancestor Godheads. That way, they could create 10 Territory Ancestors, which would be very helpful to them. The waiting time was long, and no one wanted to leave. Anyway, there were only 3 days. To them, it was just a blink of an eye. Time flew, and the night came. No one rested. They sat in their respective places. Some were resting, some were chatting, and some were doing other things. Everyone was waiting for 3 days. Chapter 1963. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. The morning light slowly shrouded the land. Boom! A loud explosion tore through the sky. A giant mountain fell from the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. It fell directly into the seal. At first glance, the giant mountain seemed to connect heaven and earth. The Territory Ancestor Peak had arrived. Seeing the Territory Ancestor Peak descending, the surrounding people all flew toward the mountain. However, they felt helpless as there was only one entrance to the mountain. It was depressing. Everyone stopped except for the 2 Starry Sky Territory Ancestors and the 6 Starry Sky Territory Emperors. They didn't hesitate to enter. Once they entered, even if they got the Starry Sky Territory Ancestors Godhead, what if they couldn't get out in time? Wouldn't they die for sure? Although the Starry Sky Territory Ancestors Godhead was tempting, it wasn't enough compared to life and death. Should they give up like this? They weren't willing. In the face of death, some people weren't afraid of death. Seeing the 8 people enter the entrance, many of them gritted their teeth and strode toward the entrance. There were more than 80,000 cultivators in the Starry Sky. 90% of them chose to enter, and the remaining 10% chose to leave. More than 70,000 cultivators in the Starry Sky. However, they had underestimated the size of the Territory Ancestor Peak. As soon as they stepped through the entrance, the space in front of them was too big. Let alone 70,000 Starry Sky cultivators, even 7 million or 70 million Starry Sky cultivators wouldn't be a problem. 10 Starry Sky Territory Ancestors Godheads and 1,000 keys. As soon as they entered the Territory Ancestor Peak, they started to look for the keys and the Starry Sky Territory Ancestors Godheads. Besides the 2 Starry Sky Territory Ancestors, everyone had decided to leave the Territory Ancestor Peak as soon as they found the keys and the Starry Sky Territory Ancestors Godheads. Otherwise, Not to mention the keys and the Starry Sky Territory Ancestors' godheads, they might not even be able to survive. Longao's group was the last to enter the Territory Ancestor Peak. As soon as they entered, they became the center of attention. Longao wasn't dead. The two level 9 Starry Sky cultivators weren't far from Longao. Just as they were about to attack, Longao struck first. Time Shorekill technique. Under the time lock, Longao used the 36 styles of reincarnation. Using the finger as a sword. 2 strands of sword chi shot through the air. Before the two of them could react, they were struck by the 2 strands of samsara sword chi. Their bodies and souls directly vanished. Killing 2 grade 9 Starry Sky cultivators in one move? Longao's strength had thoroughly awed everyone in the surroundings. Everyone who was about to make a move forcefully held themselves back. Those who approach me will be killed without mercy. Hong Lin, Qi Tian, and the 6 Starry Sky Domain Emperors all headed in different directions. The intention of the 8 of them was very clear. At the moment, no one was willing to provoke Longao. If they won, everyone would be happy. What if he lost? Seeing that the 8 of them were unwilling to make a move, the others were even more unwilling. First, he had to find the key and the Starry Sky Godhead. Everyone began to search frantically. It wasn't something that could be obtained with great power. It depended more on luck. One of the level 6 Starry Sky cultivators had successfully found a key after entering the Territory Ancestor Peak for less than 10 minutes. This person's request wasn't excessive. He just wanted a key to enter the Starry Sky Secret Territory in 10 months. As for the Starry Sky Domain Ancestor Godhead, he didn't even think about it. One should do things according to one's capability. This person was self-aware. As soon as he got the key, he was ready to leave. What was the result? Before he could react, he was besieged by a group of people. He didn't even have time to run before he was beaten into nothingness. A single key had already caused countless people to fight over it. Although there were 1,000 keys in the Territory Ancestor Peak, everyone knew that it was better to get it first. What if they couldn't get it after 10 months? They had to get the Starry Sky Secret Territory. Otherwise, why would they enter the Heavenly Martial Realm? Looking at the bloody battle in the distance, Longao shook his head helplessly. Master, what should we do now? You too should be careful. Try to find the key and the Starry Sky Domain Ancestor Godhead. Remember, if someone gets the key, throw it away. Although the key was precious, the two of them were the most important in Longao's heart. Not to mention the key, Longao wouldn't even exchange the Starry Sky Domain Ancestor Godhead. The two of them were touched, but they didn't say anything. They turned around and walked in another direction. Long Fu, can you sense the location of the Starry Sky Godhead? Master, the Territory Ancestor Peak is sealed by the marvelous mathematician. I can't release my aura. But, Master, you must be careful. I feel that something is wrong with this place. Long Fu nodded. Since he couldn't sense the location of the Starry Sky Godhead, he could only rely on himself. There were 70 to 80,000 Starry Sky cultivators, but only 1,000 were available. The marvelous mathematician's intention was clear. With so many people fighting for the key, there would only be one result. Blood would flow like a river. At that time, countless Starry Sky cultivators would die. Was that the result the marvelous mathematician wanted? In the past, Starry Sky cultivators were the strongest experts in the Sky Martial continent. They stood high above the continent. However, the situation was different now. Starry Sky cultivators were like cabbages on the street. They could have as many people as they wanted. Not to mention 1 or 2 people dying, even if 1,000 or 100 of them died, it wouldn't be a big deal. Longao had killed more than 20,000 Starry Sky cultivators, but it didn't cause a big commotion. If it happened in the past, the Sky Martial continent would be in an uproar. Domain Monarch Yi Bu took action and the key ended up in his hands. Under the deterrence of his powerful strength, no one dared to fight with Yi Bu for it. As for the other 5 Domain Monarchs, They wouldn't fall out with Yi Bu over a key. For the sake of a key, dozens of Starry Sky cultivators had already died in just a few minutes. At this rate, there was no need to wait for the Starry Sky secret realm to open. It was believed that 70 to 80,000 Starry Sky cultivators would die. It was a very scary thing. Feng Wuchang. Just as Longao was looking for the key and the Starry Sky territory ancestor godhead, he saw his own worry. It would have been better if he hadn't seen it. As soon as he saw it, he became angry. Longao didn't even look for the key and the Starry Sky territory ancestor godhead. He shot toward Feng Wuchang. Before the person arrived, the reincarnation sword Qi had already cut through the vast sky, like a long rainbow, fiercely slashing towards Feng Buxiong. Now, Longao's cultivation had successfully broken through to the 8th level of Starry Sky cultivator. His strength was enough to threaten Feng Buxiong's life. P.S. Send the first chapter. Chapter 1964. Anger. At this time, Longao still dared to attack him. He did not put him in his eyes at all. This was unbearable. If he continued to endure at this time, where would he put his face? Thinking of this, Feng Wuchang counterattacked. While dodging, his entire person also rushed towards Longao. Just in time. Longao was afraid that Feng Buxiong would not fight, but he knew very well that with his strength alone, he could not kill the other party. The Starry Sky Region Emperor was far above a level 8 Starry Sky cultivator. The gap was too big. He did not dare to be the slightest careless. Using his finger as a sword, the reincarnation sword Qi constantly shot out, and the Starry Sky cracks appeared. Feng Buxiong, who was full of confidence, suddenly saw the Starry Sky cracks appear around him. He did not dare to fight head-on. This was also the most frustrating thing for Feng Buxiong. The Starry Sky cracks were the nemesis of Starry Sky cultivators. Even with his strength, once he was swallowed by the Starry Sky cracks, he would die. Longao, you are really shameless. Feng Buxiong did not care. If the other party was a Starry Sky Region Emperor or Starry Sky Region Emperor, once he used the Starry Sky cracks, he would not be able to resist. But the situation was a little different now. Longao's realm was too low. Even if he broke through continuously, he would only be a level 8 Starry Sky cultivator, which was far from his realm. Even if he used the Starry Sky cracks, he would not be his opponent. Fight. Longao could clearly feel that the other party did not put him in his eyes at all. Not to mention Feng Buxiong, he believed that no matter who it was, he would not put them in his eyes. This was the result that Longao wanted. The reincarnation heavenly eye started to attack the primordial spirit directly. Under normal circumstances, Longao could not successfully attack with the help of the primordial spirit, but the situation was a little different now. With such a big difference in realm, using the primordial spirit to attack was simply a dead end. Longao dared to use the primordial spirit to attack? From the beginning to the end, Feng Buxiong never thought that Longao would really use the primordial spirit to attack. Ah! There was a scream. The opportunity came. The attack was successful. Longao's heart suddenly rejoiced. Just as he was about to continue to attack, Feng Buxiong, who had just injured the primordial spirit, suddenly counterattacked. He was startled. As expected of the Starry Sky Domain Emperor, Longao finally understood how powerful the Starry Sky Domain Emperor was. Even after being attacked by his own primordial spirit, the Starry Sky Domain Emperor was still able to resist. In the blink of an eye, he had already disappeared with the help of spatial teleportation. He didn't continue the chase. Feng Buxiong's face was gloomy and pale. It was as ugly as it could get. Fortunately, his primordial spirit was strong. Otherwise, he would have been killed by the other party's primordial spirit attack. Now that he thought about it, he felt a lingering fear. The battle between Feng Buxiong and Longao would definitely cause an uproar if it was any other time. However, at this moment, no one gave it a second glance. Everyone was focused on finding the key and the Starry Sky Godhead. Brother Feng, are you injured? Seeing that Feng Buxiong's Yuan spirit was heavily injured, Yibu naturally knew what had happened. He found it hard to believe, because he really couldn't understand, with Longao's strength, why would he dare to use his Yuan spirit to attack, and even succeed, causing Feng Buxiong's Yuan spirit to be heavily injured. I was careless and was successfully attacked by Longao. He was enraged to the extreme. He was almost killed by Longao. It was a great humiliation, a humiliation that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Brother Feng, why don't we join hands? How could Feng Buxiong not know what Yibu meant? Under such circumstances, joining hands was indeed the best choice. Thinking of this, Feng Buxiong nodded and said, no problem. No matter what we get, we'll share it equally. Exactly. In the distance. Seeing that Yibu and Feng Buxiong had formed an alliance, Longao's face was solemn. One Feng Buxiong was hard enough to deal with, and now there was Yibu. With 2 Starry Sky Domain Emperors joining hands, he didn't stand a chance. Even so, he had to take revenge. However, Longao didn't act rashly. Not to mention the 2 joining hands, even one of them was hard to deal with. Feng Buxiong, I swear I'm not a human if I don't kill you. At this moment, the sect master of the Heaven and Earth sect, Yibu, brought more than 100 level 9 Starry Sky cultivators to the territory Ancestor Peak. Seeing the situation, everybody was frightened. Not only did they have more than 100 level 9 Starry Sky cultivators, but they also had 10 Starry Sky Domain Emperors. Yibu wasn't just a level 6 Starry Sky cultivator anymore. He was a real Starry Sky Domain Emperor. Others may be shocked, but Longao was not the slightest bit surprised, because he knew very well that with Yibu's identity, not to mention hundreds of Starry Sky cultivators, even if there were thousands or tens of thousands of Starry Sky cultivators, it was nothing to worry about. Seeing such a strong team coming, besides the 2 territory ancestors, everybody else was solemn. They couldn't figure out why Yibu had become so strong all of a sudden. Moreover, he had such a powerful team. As soon as they entered the territory Ancestor Peak, Yibu walked directly to Longao with a smile. He came to Longao and said, Brother Long, if you have any trouble, you can tell me directly. You and I will join hands. What do you think? Could he refuse? No problem. Longao didn't use Yibu's force to deal with Feng Buxiong because he had decided to take revenge for Uncle Murong himself. He didn't want to use the other's force. Brother Long, I'll leave one of the 10 territory ancestors for you. He was very depressed. Was this considered cheating? Anyway, Yibu had a special identity. It was hard for the others to find the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's godhead, but to Yibu, it was easy. Longao thanked him and found an excuse to leave alone. He couldn't do anything if he stayed with Yibu. The 2 territory ancestors were searching everywhere for the key and the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's godhead. They had never thought that they couldn't find the key or the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's godhead. How could they not be worried? Before they entered the Territory Ancestor Peak, they were confident that it would be easy for them to find the key and the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's godhead. However, after one whole day, they couldn't find the key or the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's godhead. How could they not be worried? They were even more annoyed. In this situation, it wasn't enough to rely only on power. It depended on luck. Unknowingly, more than 10 people had found the key. The 2 of them had decided that if they couldn't find the key, they would have to take action. No matter what, they had to get the Starry Sky Territory. P.S. Copy the 2nd chapter. Chapter 1965. Those who weren't greedy chose to leave the territory Ancestor Peak as soon as they got the key. As for the greedy ones, even if they got the key, they still wanted to see the Starry Sky Godhead. The result? Those who stayed were unlucky. Many people started to fight crazily. Corpses appeared one after another. It was a terrifying scene because human lives were worthless in this place. Longao chose to give up on the key and the Starry Sky Godhead. He just stared at Feng Buxiong. He could give up the key. He could give up the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godhead. However, he couldn't give up on Feng Buxiong's revenge. He must take revenge for Uncle Murong. Thus, Feng Buxiu must die. Feng Buxiu, of course, understood the other party's intention. He was enraged to the extreme. Brother Yi, why don't we join hands and kill Longao? Feng Buxiu shook his head. Brother Yi, you don't want to? Feng Buxiu cursed inwardly. However, he didn't dare to offend him in this situation. It's easy to kill Longao. Our priority is to find the key and the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godhead. We'll have time in the future. Yi Biyu's meaning was clear. He didn't care about Longao's life. The most important thing was the Starry Sky Godhead and the key to enter the Star Secret Realm. How could he not be angry? So what if they joined hands? Brother Yi, since that's the case, our cooperation ends here. I would rather give up the Starry Sky Divine Deity and the key to kill Longao. He couldn't bear this kind of humiliation. Thus, Feng Buxiu decided to kill Longao first. Then, he would get the Starry Sky Godhead and the so-called key. Feng Buxiu nodded helplessly. Since it had come to this, what else could he say? Yi Biyu chose to leave. Feng Buxiu turned around to look at Longao. Then, he dashed forward like an arrow. Longao understood Feng Buxiu's intention. This was the result he wanted. If it was only Feng Buxiu, he might have a chance. If Feng Buxiu and Yi Biyu joined hands, he wouldn't have a chance. Longao didn't choose to fight force with force. He turned around and left. The two of them crazily chased each other. The people around didn't care at all. After all, it was normal for people who had grudges against each other to fight. Brother Long, do you need my help? No need, I want to solve it myself. Yi Dugu's strength was there for all to see. Moreover, Yi Dugu had the support of the divine mathematician. If he wanted to kill Feng Buxiu, it would be a simple matter. Longao had a feeling that with Yi Dugu's competence, it wouldn't be hard to kill the two territory ancestors of the Starry Sky. Mph, he snorted coldly. Feng Buxiu had already raised his concentration to 120%. Even if the other party used a primordial spirit attack again, he would have the ability to deal with it. But Feng Wuxian was wrong. After Longao's successful essence spirit attack, he had never thought of using it a second time, a third time, or a fourth time. He knew that the other was on guard. If he continued to use the primordial spirit attack, wouldn't he be looking for trouble? Longao didn't just run crazily. From time to time, he swung his sword backhandedly. The reincarnation sword Qi tore the sky like a rainbow. While Feng Buxiu was dodging, he was shocked to see the space slits on both sides. He had to stop to avoid being swallowed by the two space slits. The more it happened, the angrier Feng Buxiu became. He was so angry that he couldn't control his anger. However, Feng Buxiu was still scared. If he hadn't stopped in time, he would have been swallowed by the space slits, and he would have died without a burial place. Even so, Feng Buxiu didn't choose to give up. He chased after the other directly. This time, Feng Buxiu was much more careful. It was better to be safe than sorry. If he couldn't resist the other's space slits, the consequences would be unimaginable. Longao was still using his reincarnation sword Qi. The space slits appeared from time to time, but not every time. Feng Buxiu felt like he wanted to die. Longao is coming to us. The two of them were trying their best to find the territory ancestor's godhead when they saw Longao coming toward them. They had a strange feeling. Kill? Or not? After pondering for a while, they decided to take action. Until now, they were still greedy for Longao's secret techniques and supernatural abilities. Take action. Territory ancestor Hong Lin and territory ancestor Qi Tian hadn't waited for Longao to come close. They had attacked him from both sides. Longao was in a dangerous situation. Under normal circumstances, they would have died without a doubt. But the result? Longao disappeared all of a sudden. Under the pincer attack of the three Starry Sky experts, he disappeared without a trace. Seeing this, both Feng Buxiu and the two territory ancestors gawked, looking at the empty space in front of them. What happened after all? Feng Buxiu didn't approach them because he didn't know if the two territory ancestors would attack him or not. Anyway, with their competence, How could he deal with them? Brother Hong, what did you sense just now? Hong Lin shook his head, his face solemn. If I'm not wrong, Longao should have a starry sky divine weapon, the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. Besides the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda, the two of them couldn't think of any other starry sky divine weapon Longao had. After all, he could use Longao to leave this place in a blink of an eye. If that was the case, it would be even more difficult to kill Longao in the future. The two of them clearly knew that even with their strength, they would not be able to stop Longao from entering the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. Thinking about this, the two of them became more solemn. With Longao's innate talents and potential, they believed that not long after, he would reach their level. At that time, not to mention killing Longao, they would be thankful if they didn't get killed by Longao. The more they thought about it, the more they wanted to kill Longao. They couldn't wait for a second. In fact, the two of them and Feng Buxiu had guessed wrong. Longao didn't enter the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda but the Dragon Seal space. Even the territory ancestors couldn't stop him, which was Longao's biggest reliance. Right when the two of them were about to leave, Longao appeared and said coldly, "You two, remember this. One day, I will send you into the reincarnation cycle." You! Being provoked by Longao, the two of them were enraged. As the territory ancestors of the Starry Sky, it was a great humiliation to be provoked by a Starry Sky cultivator. P.S. Copy of the third chapter. Chapter 1966. It would be a lie if they said they weren't afraid. Longao's innate talent and potential were too intimidating. Even in the vast universe, he was a monstrous existence. The best solution was to eliminate the root of the problem and not give Longao a chance to grow. The two of them didn't move. They understood that Longao had the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. If they couldn't kill him in one strike, and if Longao didn't show up, things would become more troublesome. Longao disappeared one more time. The two of them sighed deeply. As territory ancestors of the Starry Sky territory, they were humiliated by a Starry Sky cultivator. There was no other way. The other had the Seven Orifices Exquisite Pagoda. No matter how strong they were, they couldn't kill Longao. As soon as the two of them left, Longao reappeared. His face was solemn. Although he had reached level 8, he couldn't resist two territory ancestors of the Starry Sky. The Starry Sky Territory Ancestors Godhead. On the third day since the Territory Ancestor Peak had descended, the day had just ended, and dusk had just arrived. A fiery red Starry Sky Godhead appeared in the sky. The first one to shoot out was Hong Lin's Territory Ancestor. The second one was Qi Tian's Territory Ancestor. Right after that, everyone rushed out crazily because they knew that if they could get the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's Godhead, they could become a territory ancestor in the future. Everybody was cursing the two territory ancestors of the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor in their minds. You're already territory ancestors of the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor, but you still want to snatch the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's Godhead. Shameless to the extreme. Kill. In front of the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's Godhead, the two of them had the intention to kill. Before they could snatch the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor's Godhead, they had already attacked the surrounding people. In just a few minutes, hundreds of Starry Sky cultivators had fallen from the sky, crashing hard on the ground. The chance had come. Longao didn't try to snatch the Starry Sky Godhead. With so many experts here, it was almost impossible for him to do so. Instead of taking risks, it was better to snatch the Starry Sky Primordial Spirits. Among all the people here, no one was willing to snatch these so-called primordial spirits apart from him. If Longao didn't snatch it, then there was only one way for the primordial spirit to go. It would either disappear or enter the cycle of reincarnation. Yes, yes, yes. One by one, the Starry Sky cultivators fell from the sky and effortlessly placed their primordial spirits into the Dragon Seal space. This time, Longao did not continue to refine Starry Sky Soul Slaves. He already had an army of 20,000 Starry Sky Soul Slaves, which was more than enough for this situation. As for the future, once he entered the vast starry sky, he would need to refine more starry sky soul slaves. An essence divinity. 2 primordial spirits. 3, 4, 5. In just tens of minutes, Longao had already picked up over 300 primordial spirits. Honglin, why don't you let me have this starry sky godhead first and I'll help you snatch the next one? Qi Tian and Hong Lin had come to the left and right sides of the territory ancestor god's godhead. As for the others, they were afraid of the two of them. They didn't dare to take one step forward. Even so, they didn't want to leave. What if they were lucky? What if they could take advantage of the situation? No matter what, although Hong Lin and Qi Tian had a good relationship, their relationship was shattered in front of the territory ancestor god's godhead. They might even start a war. If that happened, the others would still have a chance. Hong Lin laughed crazily and said, Qi Tian, why don't you let me have this starry sky godhead and I'll help you get the next one? What do you think? They didn't want to give in. If neither of them gave in, there was only one result, a war. Instantly, the two of them engaged in a fierce battle. However, with their eyes and ears alert, no one dared to snatch the godhead. If they were attacked by the two territory ancestors of the starry sky, wouldn't it be a dead end? Everybody hoped that when the two territory ancestors of the starry sky started a war, it would be either one of them dying. If both of them got hurt badly, their side would have a chance. Both of them should get hurt quickly. Hong Lin and Qi Tian were both territory ancestors of the starry sky, but they hadn't reached the peak of the territory ancestor realm. Thus, their competence wasn't much different from each other. It wasn't possible to determine the winner in a short time. The starry sky territory ancestor god's godhead emitted waves of light, which made people's hearts itch. It was right in front of them, but they didn't dare to move. It was so frustrating. In just a blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged hundreds of moves. However, they still couldn't determine the winner. No more starry sky primordial spirits. After putting more than 300 starry sky primordial spirits into the dragon seal space, Longao lifted his head and looked at the battle between the territory ancestors of the 9 heavens. He smiled all of a sudden. If you don't want it, I won't be polite. Longao understood that he had to take the starry sky territory ancestor god's godhead as fast as he could. Otherwise, once people realized what he was doing, he would be in big trouble. It was really dangerous. However, after thinking for a while, Longao decided to take the risk. No matter what, it was a starry sky territory ancestor god's godhead. Once he got it, even if he didn't swallow it, he could create another territory ancestor god. To him and the Dragon Valley, it was a good thing. Longao had thought about it. Once he left the Sky Martial continent and went to the vast universe, what would happen to his family? Although the Dragon Valley's competence wasn't bad, it wasn't enough. However, with teleport and the dragon seal space, Longao was confident that he could take the starry sky territory ancestor god's godhead easily. No one noticed Longao. After all, Longao was just a level 8 starry sky cultivator. Even though he had many deadly attacks, his competence wasn't enough to catch people's attention. Thus, no one paid attention to Longao. Longao didn't act rashly. Since the two territory ancestors were fighting, their eyes and ears would be alert. If he couldn't hit the target with one strike, he would be attacked crazily by the two territory ancestors. In that case, the loss wouldn't be worth it. He had to wait for a chance. Their battle began to move. Although it was just a dozen meters away, Longao was ready to take action. He couldn't wait any longer. If the two territory ancestors stopped fighting, it would be impossible for him to get the starry sky territory ancestor god's godhead. Others might not dare to act rashly, but Longao was different. With teleport, Longao disappeared from his spot. After 2 teleports, Longao appeared in front of the starry sky territory ancestor god's godhead. P.S. Send the 4th chapter here. Chapter 1967. Longao, put down the starry sky territory ancestor god godhead. Seeing Longao appear beside the starry sky territory ancestor god godhead, everyone was dumbfounded. Longao's guts were too big for a goblin to appear out of nowhere. Of course, the two territory ancestors also saw Longao, and they knew what the other wanted to do. When the sandpiper and the clam fight, the fisherman benefits. Territory ancestor Hong Lin and territory ancestor Qi Tian didn't talk much. They crazily attacked Longao. Before they arrived, their attacks had already reached him. However, the result was, Longao grabbed the starry sky territory ancestor godhead and disappeared on the spot. He disappeared right under everyone's noses. Everyone was stunned. The others were still okay. After all, with the two territory ancestors present, the starry sky territory ancestor godhead might not fall into someone else's hands. However, Longao's possession of the starry sky territory ancestor godhead made everyone feel uncomfortable. The most depressed ones were Hong Lin and Qi Tian. When the sandpiper and the clam fight, the fisherman benefits. Hong Lin, are you willing to see this result? F***ck off. After this incident, the relationship between the two of them was completely severed. Was this what friends were like? For a starry sky territory ancestor godhead, friends were no longer friends. They had shed all pretense of cordiality and even fought. If there was a chance, they would definitely kill each other. There were only 10 universal domain ancestor godheads in total, and one of them had appeared with great difficulty. But now, Longao had snatched it first. This caused everyone to be furious and depressed. Longao's talent and potential were already terrifying. Now that he had obtained the starry sky territory ancestor godhead, it was hard to imagine that once Longao devoured the starry sky territory ancestor godhead and became the starry sky territory ancestor, who could be his opponent? Let alone the others, even the two territory ancestors of the starry sky couldn't resist Longao. In the distance, Yi Dugu, who had been watching the battle, had his expression change again and again. This was because he was very surprised by Longao's various secret techniques and abilities. It would be a lie to say that he was not greedy. Longao appeared, but no one came to attack. This was because Longao could disappear at will. This made many people wary. Since they knew that attacking would be useless, why would they waste time? Master. Both Shechong and Shapotian admired their master very much. He actually snatched the starry sky godhead in front of everyone's eyes. Cow. Shapotian, are you willing to devour the chief god's divine spark? Ah! Shapotian didn't know how to react. Shechong tapped Shapotian's shoulder, because he already knew what the master meant. As if he had thought of something, Shapotian's face instantly lit up with joy, and his body began to tremble slightly. Shi Yang understood clearly what the starry sky territory ancestor's godhead meant. Once he swallowed the star territory ancestor godhead, if nothing unexpected happened, he would become the territory ancestor of the starry sky, the supreme existence in this vast universe. Was the master really willing to do that? Until now, Shapotian still couldn't believe it. Others would fight to the death for the starry sky territory ancestor's godhead. The master risked his life to snatch the starry sky territory ancestor godhead. Even if Shapotian didn't want to devour it, he could leave it for his family. Since that was the case, why did he still want Shapotian? Potian. Shapotian was dumbfounded. Pushed by his father, Shapotian came back to his senses. He said happily, "Master, of course, I'm willing. But I can't believe it. You really want me to devour the starry sky territory ancestor godhead? Nonsense." He took out the starry sky godhead and handed it to Shapotian. Looking at the starry sky godhead in his hand, Shapotian was touched. Shapotian released his bloodline. Before Longao could react, Shapotian had completed the bloodline contract. In other words, as long as the Longao wanted, he could kill Shapotian with just a thought. It was the most unfair and tyrannical contract. Even if Shapotian devoured the starry sky territory ancestor realm, he would still be restricted by the bloodline contract. Shapotian, why do you need to do that? If I didn't trust you, I wouldn't have given you the starry sky territory ancestor godhead. Shapotian smiled, his face nonchalant. Master, thank you for your trust. But I'll be at ease if I do that. Shapotian didn't want to linger on this issue. Everything they had done was done in secret. No one around could see it. If others saw Shapotian devouring the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godhead, Shapotian wouldn't have a chance to become a Territory Ancestor Realm expert. He would be hunted down. Shapotian didn't hesitate. He would never have such an opportunity in his life. Without hesitation, Shapotian directly devoured the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godhead. This time, Longao decided to give the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godhead to Shapotian first. The reason was simple. The slaughtering abyss was sealed. If he let his family swallow the Territory Ancestor Realm warriors 1 year later, it would be a waste of time. It was better to let Shapotian swallow the Territory Ancestor Realm first. With Shapotian's innate talent, he would break through to the Territory Ancestor Realm soon. Once Shapotian broke through to the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Realm, Shapotian would guard the Dragon Valley. At that time, the Dragon Valley would be safe, and Shapotian wouldn't have to worry about anything. Shapotian, you too leave the Territory Ancestor Peak now. Remember, go to a quiet place not far from the Massacre Abyss to cultivate. After 1 year, when the seal is broken, you too will guard the Dragon Valley. Remember, if anyone dares to trespass the Dragon Valley, kill them without mercy. Yes, Master. You must be careful. Shachong and Shapotian were grateful to Longao because they knew that Longao was doing this for their own good. Since Shapotian had devoured the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godhead, they couldn't let anyone know about it. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. After the two of them left, Longao continued to think about how to deal with Feng Buxiu and the other 2 Starry Sky Territory ancestors. As for snatching the Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godheads, even if he had a chance, he wouldn't hesitate to take action. Anyway, if he could snatch the other 9 Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godheads, he could create another 9 Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godheads, right? Longao smiled as he thought about this. Brother Long, you surprised me. I wanted to help you get a Starry Sky Territory Ancestor Godhead. But now, it seems like you don't need my help. I have something urgent to do, so I'll take my leave first. Goodbye. Could it be that Yi Dugu came this time to help him? It seemed a little unlikely, but if Yi Dugu didn't say it himself, there was no way to guess. Longao looked at the gradually disappearing figure and was very afraid. He knew that at this moment, he didn't know what Yi Dugu meant to him. After all, Yi Dugu's strength and identity were there. Longao, let's talk. How about that? P.S. Copy the 5th chapter. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,